Da 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 da. See. Okay. Hmm. Baby bottle pop, baby bottle pop, baby bottle pop. Anyway, let's see. Okay. Why did I pull up the original one that needed? There. Okay. Anyway. Alright. Cool. Let's start this. Let's start that. Start this. Making lip sync animation takes time to voicemail shapes. Oh, I know. I know. I'm just really fucking annoyed with it right now because it's like, it's just the dialogue that I'm doing is just like on top of each other. So it's like much worse compared to like, you know, syncing up regular dialogue. Uh, okay, anyway. Alright. Okay. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I'm like trying to get the YouTube one to work like usual. Because that's always the most annoying one. 1 sec. Okay. Alright. You still hear what do I call it? Uh Jake Farrison. Wait, what was your original username? That was something different, wasn't it? Did I? Hold on. Did already. Okay. Why is it not popping up with your thing? Like you said something, but it didn't pop up for some odd reason. Almost all anime
Okay, cool.
has no lip sync before audio, but JoJo is the exception. Yeah. Well, most anime is like, yeah, it's just lip flaps most of the time, right? But here's the difference. Like, like it. I mean, I know this was probably explained by like, how you say it? I know this was probably like you guys probably haven't heard of this before, but like I've been, you know,
Oh,
involved
it's this
with
one.
a lot
Very
of
good.
like animation stuff for a very long time, like been, you know, in the community for a long time. And the reason why why a lot of other countries don't lip sync like their animation compared to American animation is because like Americans just had that like higher standard of like they can like small movements like that was basically meant like was just is the reason why American media like matters so much, or why it matters so much with American media, because people are picky with lip syncing compared to every other country. Every other country, you can have the mouth be way the fuck off and people won't care. But it's the reason why like dubs matter so much with like, or why dubs like even, that's probably the reason why people kind of shit on Americans all the time with like dub anime, because it's just lip sync is so important for us, because it's like how it works more like a play than it does a than it does just like a, how do I say it? Then it does like a messy sequence, if that makes any sense. Because if you notice like a lot of other media, I know that you guys know this if you're not American, but like if you notice how like a lot of media like outside of the US, typically the pacing is really strange most of the time, or like the or like like sequences of things are a little different and the writing is not really, dare I say, not as good. People are gonna totally hate me for saying that, but like American writing is peak because Americans are like, were used to be very picky about like writing. We still are, but now there's like that separation between like the beret wearers and like the berets and the fucking the art critics and the fucking how you say it, and obviously the slop consumers now, but but I don't know, like the pickiest people usually used to be Americans. I'm not going to lie, like unfortunately, I really hate that people's standards only lowered when fucking like AI started coming into the mix. So I don't know if that's going to be true very soon. Like it just, people used to care about it because people used to care about the quality of like their entertainment, because like, and that's the thing is, you have to remember, people went from like from books to like movies to like what do you call it, like when I was younger, books were like the shit. Like that was the thing that you try to get people into, even if it was like something that was really goofy. It was like, usually it wasn't like scrolling the internet, like doom scrolling social media, or like I
still care about quality of entertainment.
Yeah, it very much, if somebody would recommend, like usually people would typically like look at a book recommendation before they watch a movie, or before they did a movie recommendation. Nowadays it's the opposite. Nowadays it's like, if somebody recommends you like a show or like a movie, or like usually it'll go movie, show, no, it's not even that, it'll go social media, well, no, not social media, I don't know, like movie will be probably the main like thing that people can recommend you, but I'm doing all right. How about you? Like, just back then it just was like more of, people had higher standards, and I didn't really understand it for like years until like language started adapting and evolving, like in cartoons, where it started getting to the level where they're using more like complicated language, and like there's certain words that get used that people just completely miss.
The USA has more experience with story writing.
Yeah, it does. It's also been like, it was there before, like it was one of the starting ones that also started it too, so without like any censorship or anything like that. Obviously censorship got far worse, but but it started pretty like, people just like, weirdly enough, like the one thing, Europe is obviously king when it comes to art, but the US was king when it came to entertainment, like movie entertainment or like show entertainment. It used to be king when it came to that stuff. That's why like YouTube was like so popular in the United States compared to like some other country at the time. Obviously the technology was way more ahead, but like, in the United States, obviously, but like the United States had standards, and people had standards. Like people were educated, at like very well educated before, so people wanted like educated media. That's the reason why a lot of times you saw stuff from like stuff criticizing freaking like Hamilton and Beethoven and freaking like Shakespeare, and like I just really old head figures from like not ancient times, but like the not medieval times, what do you fucking call it, the fucking 1800s. The reason why they criticized a lot of those people, right? Like it just like
to quote Sniper TF2, professionals have standards.
Yeah. It would, yeah, exactly. People, people just used to have actual standards. Well, professionals didn't even have standards. It was just people, period.
Add.
Um, Trying to remember the name. I think it's Aristotle. Hold on. Aristotle. Who fucking said Eureka? Hold
Add over.
on. Archimedes. What? Hold on. That's not right. Was that really Archimedes? Hold on, wait a minute, wait a minute. He's not the one that coined the term Eureka. The dude.
Add over. Also, it was telling me to use Google's AI bullshit.
Wait. Oh! Wait a minute. Wait. Hold on. I'm so confused. Hold on. Archimedes was the one that used to yell Eureka? Like, there was a reason why he yelled, like, he yelled Eureka because of, like, the fucking, like, the, the one where he, like, drops the crown in, like, in the freaking, oh my god, he was. Oh my god, what the hell? Why did I not, oh my god, what the fuck? How did I not know Archimedes was the one that... Holy shit, I don't know how the fuck I did not know that. That's wild. Oh my god, I've been mixing my history together then. Because there was another guy that, like, that did exactly that, but, like, the one that discovered gravity, I guess. Not gravity, but, like, the in-motion thing. Oh my god. I'm thinking of the fucking food scientist that, like, I'm thinking of the fucking food scientist that, like, that basically figured out how to, like, figured out that, if you leave, like, an open bottle of something, like, you actually have to refrigerate things, like, food actually has to be, like, kept at, like, a decent temperature, and you have to cook food, and you have to, like, not even just cook food, but you had to, like, washing hands. Like, that's the person that I'm thinking of. Like, the guy that very first, like, got people to, like, wash their hands and shit. Like, and got people to, like, like, understand that food does, like, rot if you don't, like, if, like, air is in it. Like, the guy that basically, like, that created, like, that basically, not created steel containers, but the guy that, like, figured out that, how you say it, the guy that figured out that, like, you had to put stuff in containers for it not to go bad, like, for food not to go bad, you had to put it in containers. I'm trying to remember the fuck, like, I thought that was the guy. Oh my god, I am mixing the two things up. That is crazy. That's right, because that...
You're very confused today, getting your scientists mixed up.
I guess I am, but you have to remember, too, it wasn't just one scientist, it was three, because there was one that was, like, because the first one that discovered that, they didn't believe him, right? But then the second time, they did, like, the second one, he did, like, a different experiment that was a little bit better, but people still, like, people, like, believed him. But then there's another person that basically like said, oh no, and then, like, did the experiment, but they did it wrong.
Random thought.
So then,
later this
like,
month will be a year since I first joined your live streams.
Random thought. It's been almost a year since this month will be a year since holy shit, god damn, I did not realize I was streaming that long. I appreciate it. Yeah, let's see.
I haven't kept track.
Yeah, there's like three different freaking scientists. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I mean, shoot. I mean, I appreciate it. I forgot to at the Twitch stream, huh? Whoops. Hold on. Or not Twitch stream, the Discord. Twitch stream. All right. Anyway. Hold on. Oops, that's not what I wanted. No. Hold on. Excuse me. All right. Hold on. Okay. Let me see here. Alrighty, alrighty. Alrighty. Okay. Sorry, I was gonna look up the scientist, but like, yeah, there was three different ones, but trying to remember the name of the third guy, because that's the reason why food is like why like food is refrigerated and why you wash your hands and why like bacteria is like not, why you aren't like dying. Like not necessarily the reason why what do I call it? Not the reason why like how you say it, why like the FDA exists, but look, yeah, that didn't even come till later. Oh god, dude. It's crazy to think about like in the 50s is when that shit actually started. Like, hold on, when was the
Hi
FDA
there,
like
High Color. How was work? How was life?
doing okay? How about you? I was about to ask you the same question. Hold on. When was the FDA created? OSHA wasn't even created till a lot later, or like not even created till like the 1970 something. It wasn't even created till the 70s, which is crazy to think about. When was the FDA and CDC created?
President Roosevelt was the one who made the FDA.
Really? Roosevelt? Out of everybody, huh? That's actually surprising. I did not think Roosevelt was the guy. Wow. All right. Well, that's one. I mean, to be fair, Roosevelt did a lot, and people kind of, you know, how do I say it? For a while, people were like, shit on
I got
him
my
a
toenails
lot,
removed completely. But anyways, how are you?
but that's a very big thing that he did. My toenails removed complete. Ow! What happened? Actually, you know what? Don't tell me. I'll probably gag. I'm sorry. Let's see. 1906. Okay, that was a lot sooner than I thought.
Chemically removed.
The CDC chemically removed still sounds like it's painful. CDC was established in 1946, but that was like freaking like actual drugs and shit. So that's like for diseases and stuff, but um that's more like, preventing disease rather
They number
than
it through syringes so you don't feel anything.
numb it through syringes. Still. Oh, okay. Still, but I mean, I'm sorry that happened. But, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'm actually kind of curious. Hold on. I'm actually kind of curious. Is the CDC like I know they fucking demolished the hell out of it. Is it still like at least does that have a
Which
chance?
Roosevelt?
Uh not what do you call it? Not Theodore Roosevelt, but the fucking not Teddy Roosevelt. Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt. Huh. And what's his name? Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
FDR.
No. It was created in 1906. Hold on. Hold on. FDR was awesome, but that's the dude that
He is Theodore.
actually Theodore. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Wait. Hold on. Like I have to look at a fucking picture of these guys to remember like who is who. Hold on. Let's see here. FDR. The fuck?
But I think he wasn't president. I think it was Taft.
Yeah, well, Taft was also they were both president. Yeah, it was Theodore. Okay, Theodore Roosevelt was the one that I was thinking of. Yeah, Theodore Roosevelt, you're right. You're right, it was Theodore Roosevelt. I don't know why, like, every time I'm used to seeing Theodore Roosevelt, I'm used to, like, seeing him with, like, the fucking giant, like, shotgun that he always used to have. Because that's what he was always known for.
Anyways, time for me to re-enter the Shadow Realm.
Yeah. That was our president. You know. Franklin D. Roosevelt, man, like, fucking God. Like, I mean, him and JFK, man, like... I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not saying probably JFK was, like, all great because he ended up starting the Cuban Missile Crisis, you know, but they don't tell you that part, but, like, you know, but, how'd you say it? But a lot of other things that JFK did was great. I mean, you know, if we could have another Franklin D. Roosevelt, I would not mind it, right? Honestly. Like, the dude was, like, a little, you know, I don't know, like, dude was very, like, you know, at least trying to keep everything, like, keep the peace amongst everybody, if that makes any sense. Like, the dude clearly, he set up the boomers for success, and then the boomers took that fucking gift and chucked it away. And I fucking hate it, man. I'm like, you know, ugh. I don't know, man. Still so mad about that, but who knows? Getting a president like that is just so hard nowadays.
There's a quote for that.
You know, the irony is, I still can't believe back then we thought Obama was gonna be like another FDR. That was so foolish to think of. Think that was gonna happen. It was like, oh man, look at this guy. It's like, oh yeah, like a black man for president. That will. It's like, well, you know, things won't things won't get worse that way. Oops. I guess it will. I guess things can go bad. You know. Bummer. Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean we're still, like, destroying the Middle East and, like, and he, like, took advantage of multiple third world countries, you know, for resources? Darn. God, man. Fuck. You know. Like, I don't know, man. It's like, we haven't had a good president in, like, fucking years, dude. I, like, genuinely thinking that FDR was the last good president just, like, blows my fucking mind. Can't fucking believe that that's just a thing.
Weak men create
Anyway.
hard times. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men.
Weak men create hard times create strong men create good times create weak men. Yeah, exactly. That's true. It is just a cycle. It is just a cycle, unfortunately. Like, like, the irony is, there's gonna be some leader that,
Every president
like,
had a terrible foreign relations
Zoomers
policy, but at
don't
least Obama had
fucking,
Obamacare among other
like,
services.
you know, change their mind, or if, like, Zoomers don't fucking, like, you know, like, fucking, you know, fix their shit from, like, and stop acting like boomers for a second, you know, if they just stop acting like boomers for a second and fix their shit, we might be able to, like, baby Gen Alpha might actually have, and I know this sounds bad, they could actually genuinely have, like, the best president ever, right? Like, we could have the best president since FDR, if that happens, right? You know, even Gen Z might have the best president ever if we fix our shit. You know, not us, but the fucking late Zoomers, man. It's like, we just need people to fix their shit, you know? So it's like, because the reason why we don't have leaders that, like, that give a shit is because, like, humanity just, like, doesn't, you know, give... Smart people don't want it. So we have to convince smart people to do it, right? It's had a terrible foreign relation policy, but at least Obama had Obamacare, among other... Yeah, but Obamacare wasn't good, though. It
I was born in
screwed over a
07,
lot of
so I was around the
people,
middle of the generation.
unfortunately. The modern Medicare we have now actually would have, well, used to have before you know who abolished it, but the one that we used to have is a lot better, and it was spreading throughout the states, but, you know, fuck us, I guess. 1 second. one thing we need to do is, you know, is abolish the Electoral College for one. But for two, after we do that, if we ever get that, you know, that may never be achieved because, you know, billionaires will spend every single dollar they can to make sure that they can keep super PACs. Um, um, it's like we maybe we could at least convince a like we would need to convince a historian to be like a president in the future. The only problem is historians are really fucking intelligent. So it's like, you know, convincing intelligent people to be in political power is really fucking hard. That's the thing that happened. Like, that's, you know, that's happened before, but like if you notice how a lot of like, if you look at like politicians of like history, not just presidents, but like you look at politicians of like, you know, like senators and representatives and like, you know, or senators and like,
Would you vote for me if I live long
even,
enough to be president?
even mayors and shit. Would I? Probably. Let's be honest. Well, yeah, yes. The answer is yes. Yeah, most likely because literally every like your competition would suck so bad. Like you would just be the not even that. It's the fact that you would be normal compared to everybody else. If someone lower class gets like, if someone lower to middle class ever becomes a political leader, that person could fucking stomp like if we like again we would have to abolish the electoral college so you could win like the actual popular vote with like, you know, with the people, the general public, like in a direct democracy. But like generally anybody that like right now, there's a ton of politicians like coming out right now that are lower class or middle class. A lot of these people are starting to gain traction because of the fact that like people are so tired of these companies paying politicians to be in political positions. So basically, like, you know, no matter, like, Republican and Democrat, both sides are, like, fucking tired of that shit. So it's like, if anybody is, like, a normal, average Joe Schmo person with a regular-ass job, everybody, like, you know, people will vote for
So in the
you.
unlikely future I live till 30, woo superhero president.
Probably, yeah. Let's be honest. If you ever do make it there, like, you know, it's like the irony is you would be a president, you know? You like there would be a high chance that in the future you could be a president, but we have to survive till then. That's the problem. Again, like our fucking like we kicked off World War fucking 3. So it's like somehow we have to survive this without like somehow we just have to make sure that like people just randomly go like, okay, I guess we're done fighting. Cause like it's not just like the Middle East, right? It's the Middle East. Then there's like, you know, there's the Middle East, there's part of Europe, like, you know, obviously you know, part of Europe in freaking what do they call it? Part of Europe in like obviously with Ukraine and Russia and shit. Then there's like shit happening in Africa for some odd reason. And then like, you know, and like now, you know, and then obviously the US with fucking South America, which is just so insane because that's still America. It's like, it's so dumb. Like, I don't know why we're fighting with our own counterpart. Like, that's like North America. Okay, hold on. I need to like show a map real quick. Hold on. World map. Hold on. I need to just show a fucking map real quick. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Continents. There we go. Like, okay. Hold on. This one's a little wrong, but, this one? Nope, that one's
Oddly
wrong.
enough, in the Latin American educational curriculum, all of America is one continent. But not in the United States. I think we know why.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like, if you look at this, like, you look at this map, right? Like, here's Canada up here. I don't know why they don't label it Canada, but here's North America and South America. We are America. We are the biggest continent. Well, actually, no, Asia is, but we are, like, not the... Okay, I guess that's a lie. But, like, you know, It's like our continent, like we should be together, like we were together for a long time. Starting a war with the other half of America is a bad idea. This is kind of the fucking problem. When people say America, you should refer to down here too. Being American should mean this whole continent, except for Canada and Greenland, you know, like this whole continent right here should be in unison with each other. It should be united. That's the problem. Mexico doesn't count, unfortunately, I don't think. But like, you know, it just, you know, this is like Central, they call it like Central America, right? Hold on. There's like a term called for this. I don't think it's Central America, but it's like called Central something. It's like a central continent, but people call it Central America anyway, I guess. But, you know, North America, South America, and then this is Central. Like, this is the central, like, continent, right? And then, like, other than Greenland and Canada, it's like, this is us. This whole thing right here, right? So it's like, fighting with that is a bad idea. Then Europe is fighting with, what do you call it? Europe is fighting with Asia, but that's obviously Russia, right? That's a big problem. And then Africa is fighting with Asia, I think, again. Yeah, it's just like, this is so fucking annoying, right? It's like, it's just fucking annoying because this is how it should be. It's like, you know, like, you know, obviously the countries can be by themselves. I'm just saying the problem is, like, all of Asia should be in unison, which Asia is in unison. That's the irony. Asia is more in unison than most of the world right now. Well, not really. Sorry, that's a lie. The EU is... well, actually... Yeah, no, the EU is more in unison with Africa and Australia, so that's a lie. But... it's like, the problem is, like, so Europe's got it figured out. I call it, Europe's got it figured out. Asia's got it figured out. But fucking, like, we haven't figured this out yet? Like, come the fuck on, man. It's just annoying, man. It's like, you know, I don't care what people say. It's like literally
I'm on a 10-year-old tablet that's very cracked RN.
I'm on a 10-year-old tablet that's very cracked. Oh no. I'm sorry, Neon. I'm sorry that I have to deal with that. Yeah, but it's like, the fucking problem is, man, it's like, people forget that people down here are also Americans. It's just like, you know, I know that it's like, you know, people love going fucking crazy about this shit, but it's like, you know, what do I call it? It's always really funny when people, like, from down here come up here and they're like, oh, these damn immigrants. I'm like, bro, they're Americans. It's like, yeah, well, guess what? You Texas motherfuckers that came to Arizona, yeah, they're immigrants, and I don't want them immigrants in my fucking state, all right? No, like, you want to be really fucking technical. I don't like the fact that a fucking bunch of fucking states went to my goddamn state to fuck it up, all right? It's like, I don't like the fact that a shitload of states came to my state to fuck it up, all right? But guess what? I have to deal with it. It's like, you know, ironically, people from other countries, like, made it better than people from other states. Sorry. Breathe. Sorry. I hate it, dude. I fucking hate it. I just, like, I don't know, dude. I'm like, fucking... I just hate that I live next to shitty-ass Texas, you know? And obviously, shitty-ass Texas left their garbage behind because now we have fucking Turning Point over here. I'm gonna keep bringing them up. I'm still really pissed that Turning Point fucking made a home here. I know that's not technically their home base. It's like that fucking institute. I can't remember what the name of the institute was, but, like, you know... It's like the institute Charlie Kirk went to. What the fuck was the name of it? Let me see here. Institute. Where did he go to? I forgot. Let me see. Let's see here. Oh. Huh. Weird.
Texas should leave the U.S. They kinda are allowed.
Texas should leave the U.S. They kinda are allowed. Oh, I know. Yeah, but Texas is kinda terrible anyway. I'm not trying to be that person, but it's like, whatever fucking country, you know, our country, like, Texas is kind of a bit of the problem. I don't mean to be that person, but it's like there is so much shit that falls back on Texas. There's a lot of shit that falls back on California too. California is terrible because of the fucking like the income wise and why everything like, you know, got more expensive. But like Texas is the reason why there's still like a bunch of like racist shit everywhere, you know. Texas is the reason why why Nazis are still around. I know like a lot of the South is the reason why Nazis are still around, but like Texas is such a fucking shithole state that that they did like they're the reason why like billionaires like are so fucking like prominent, because they clearly just let themselves get stomped all over by fucking up their infrastructure and be like, oh yeah, well like it's like, well, I guess that's all that matters, you know? I know that every other state, like a lot of other states have like a terrible car infrastructure.
Obviously, some
right?
Texans are chill, but Texas as a whole is screwed up.
Dude, Texas is just fucked up. I just don't like Texas. Like, it's like very clearly a lot of people that come from there are fucked up in that. Like, they have some kind of illness. Like, they have a huge mental illness. And I'm just like, I am so over their shit, you know? I'm so over their shit. And like, you know, I already had, like, that's the thing is I had to deal with them throughout my whole fucking childhood, my teenhood, and my early adulthood to kick the, or like, sorry. In my early adulthood,
Texas is the only state where you can go to Paris.
Texas is the only state where you can go to Paris. I guess that's true, yeah. But you know, why would I want to go to shitty Paris when there's other places in like France that are far better? Even France, I don't know, man. God, just I don't know. I just like to be fair, like every state in the United States is literally like would be big enough to be considered its own country. I know this, but god, dude, just fucking like I don't know what to say, man. It's like it's insane like that this country has been able to like not be like break into pieces for so long, right? Like, you know, it feels like Chinese history where like China used to like break into like 50 million different pieces like over and over and over again throughout history, like hence the reason why they had like so much trouble like early history. But yeah, United States is a very interesting case. To be fair though, not gonna lie, I don't think it's necessarily the like it's just so annoying because it's like I don't know.
The dynasties of the USA.
Yeah, the irony is like technically like, you know, like we don't have to follow like federal bullshit, to be fair. Every state just can choose not to follow, like, you know, can choose not to follow the federal government. They don't have to follow it. That's the irony. They just choose to because, like, what do you want to call it? They just usually choose to because it benefits them in some way, shape, or form. Especially now, you know. But what the fuck? Why is their outfit clear now? Wait, when did that happen? Why is their outfit clear now? Oh, no, it hasn't.
Anyway, Tanner, decide. I hope you like the video I sent. It's the one showing currently.
Yeah, I gotcha. Anyway.
Old enemy. How many?
That is really quiet. Hold on. Up the volume a little.
Well, well, well. If it isn't my old enemy. How many times have we done this dance before? I once believed I could wrangle you into a classic summarize.
This person is very much the talking quietly, you know, type of content creator rather than the one that actually, you know, uses their voice. Anyway, sorry. You could tell who's bad at public speaking and who isn't. Anyway, sorry. I've already made a rant about why that bothers me. But...
back when I was making those so many years ago. I even found a mini-series I could use for footage, as if half the fun isn't the drawing part anyway. I considered making a survival guide, or going full conspiracy board in a detailed diatribe, sacrificing clarity for the fun of a conversational format. I've read you and reread you and reread you again, and written summaries and scrapped them, and still you elude me. What is it?
It's because it's... I mean, that... I mean, there could be many reasons why, but, you know, is it the 13 reasons why? Ba-doom-ching. Sorry, anyway. old ass joke. If you don't get that, that is completely fair. Like, I don't like that joke lasted only so long.
Is it about you that makes this so difficult? Well, that's a silly question. It's obvious just by looking at you. I am but one person, and you are a monster. The Count of Monte
chuckled from the
Cristo
joke.
is a simple story. It's a tale
Chuckle
of
from the
vengeance.
joke.
How
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have used that so many times, but like, I don't know exactly like who's aware of it and who isn't. But yeah, that show was really bad. I was not a fan of
one
it.
man, sharpened by cruelty and forced to become something terrible to survive and escape it,
Oh, yeah,
wove the
13 Reasons
careful
Why, the show.
undoing of his enemies over long, patient years. By all rights, it should be easy to talk about. Vengeance is one of the simplest story formats there is, but that is not what's
Not with this book though.
happening here. Alessandra Dumas decided to take a simple concept and turned it into over 300,000 words of stuff. How do you
It was really controversial and got a lot of attention at my school, but I never really watched it.
Hold on. The Count of Monte Cristo is 300,000 words. Hold on. Monte Cristo is 3,000 words. Hold on. Or 300,000, 300,000 words. That can't be right. Wait. Really? I don't think I would have been patient enough to read something like that. I must have read an abridged version of that because that I don't have the patience for something like that. That can't be right. Huh. I'm not going to lie. I love how I talk about how I don't have any time for reading, and I've read the fucking Monte Cristo before.
I enjoyed reading it, but it feels kinda like a soap opera.
It is. That's what it was based off of. It was created in like the 1800s, dude. Like that's exactly what it's supposed to be. It literally is like is a soap opera before soap operas. Like it, you know how many fucking like Spanish shows like fucking used to like Spanish soap operas used to take from the Monte Cristo like all the time. Like the bare bones pieces of it like all the fucking time. It would like it, you know, that's where that whole like stupid love story comes in, where there's like a million plot twists that are just like absurd. Like, yeah, I didn't think I had the patience for that. I read Monte Cristo when I was like 20, by the way. Like it took me like, you know, it's been years since I've read the Monte Cristo, but like I don't remember it being that long. Well, no, it wasn't even when I was like 20.
So everyone
it
was
was like
copying this guy's homework.
when I was like 17. Damn, dude. Did it really take me like I've read a lot of books before, right? But like I've not been patient with books that long. I'm just surprised I actually had the patience for that shit. Like it just doesn't feel like I just don't believe that that I've actually read that before then. Like I feel like I've read like an abridged version of it because like I don't remember reading something that fucking long. Like there's no way I read something that fucking long.
summarize something like that without glossing over everything that makes it interesting? How do you make something like that accessible to an audience who doesn't have 47 hours to burn on the audiobook? How do you keep
Well, 47 hours, yeah, right. It took a lot longer than that for me. Yeah, that is being very that's being very generous.
track of all this? I've been brooding on this nightmare for many long years, and it's time to finally drag it into the light. This is a book that defies categorization and challenges readers who manage to make it to the end to remember what in the good goddamn was even happening back at the start.
Okay, there is an abridged version of it. I thought so. I was like, there is an abridged version of the Monte Cristo. So, yes, so I must have read the abridged version. Because I had a feeling I did not have the patience to read a 300,000 word book. I did not. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, I definitely read the abridged version of it. I looked it up and it is real. So thank God. I was about to like fucking like have my mind blown and be like, and not have any excuse ever for anything ever again. Let's see. Because how many pages is this? Let's see. It is... Hold on. Actually, I don't know how... Sorry, I'm trying to look for how many pages this thing is.
It's an exploration of cruelty and consequence, and so help me, I am going to show you the way through. Welcome to this year's Halloween special, where the real horror was in the job description all along. The first thing that makes The Count of Monte Cristo so deceptively difficult is, annoyingly, the thing that also makes it good writing. It's not actually hard to summarize. The events of the story are not tremendously complicated.
Okay,
I've read enough fanfiction to make around 3 Count of Monte Cristos.
so, okay. So I was right. It's only, okay, the abridged version is only 500 pages. It's like less than 500 pages. That's a pretty decent, okay, that's not as bad. That's not very bad. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because like fucking like Harry Potter is way longer than that. So, because I'm like, I didn't even have like, I already like was hating reading the Harry Potter books when I read the Harry Potter books at the time. Like, yeah, so the original the abridged version is 500 pages. Wait, hold on. No, wait. Harry Potter is only 300 pages. Wait a second. Hold on. No. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. What the fuck you mean? Hold on. Wait. Okay. Which one did I read that was like way longer than that? Hold on. Was it? Wait. Maybe it was Lord of the Rings. Maybe it was the Lord of the Rings books. Maybe that's the one I thought was like, that one had to be. What was the book that I've read that's been like, that was like really fucking, that's much longer. Lord of the Rings is the same amount. What the fuck? There was a book that I've read that, like, I swear to God, it was like a very popular book, and it was much longer than than the Monte Cristo, like, abridged version. Huh. Interesting. Alright. Well, maybe I'm just dumb. Was it The Hobbit? Was that the one that was longer? Nope. The Hobbit was just as long. Oh. Oh, there's a 1200 fucking page version of Lord of the Rings. Okay. That might have been the one then. Maybe? Okay. So that might have been it then. It might have been the one that was like, it might have been Lord of the Rings. Okay. I don't remember reading 1200 pages. I still don't feel like I would be, patient enough for that, but maybe I have. I don't know. I've read Lord of the Rings too, but I need to reread it though, honestly. I really should, to be honest. Anyway.
And to prove it, I'll tell you what they are right now. Edmond Dantes is a sailor with everything a young man could want in life until a crew of jealous ne'er-do-wells decide to spoil his fun by getting him sent to prison forever so one of them can steal his promotion and another one can steal his girlfriend. Edmund rots in forever prison for several years, but fortunately he makes friends with an eccentric genius who helps him piece together the shape of the conspiracy that put him in forever prison in the first place, then teaches him a metric Batman's worth of knowledge and skills, passes along the secret location of an enormous hoard of wealth on the island of Monte Cristo, and then dies.
Anybody get it? Did anybody get all that? It really, it's, now just imagine that spread across like 500 pages. I like soap operas, so it's like the irony, like not real life, like not soap operas, like the very soap opera-y things, but I like the animated shows that I like a lot of animated, like modern animated shows, right? Like, or not, like ones that were created in like 2015 and stuff like that, I like Adventure Time and stuff, and that obviously was like very soap opera-y, right? So it's like this book was like not very, how'd you say it? I was very used to it by the time that like I was very used to like a lot of this stuff by the time that it came out or came out. Not when this book came out, when Adventure Time came out and like a lot of animated shows came out, right? So it's like, you know, well, no, I read this after that, but like how do I say this? I have the patience for this kind of book. I can understand why people probably would not have the patience for this kind of thing, but I like it a lot. So, you know, I like it a lot, but not
You're a
for
vampire, or some other type of immortal.
not for the reason that people think it was. I'm a vampire or some kind of immortal. No, but like I just, how do I say this? It's like, yeah, a lot fucking, like very little happens in it, if that makes any sense. Like not a lot, sorry. Very little happens in it, but like, but just like they obviously take a long time to like say certain things, and I know people typically don't have the patience for it, but I like when there's just like a lot of flavor text explaining things, like based off of like, you know, I like when there's a lot of flavor text, you know, when you are reading a book, having flavor text explaining like everything is like, or explaining like everything in the highest detail is like like perfect for an artist, right? You know, I'm up my own ass here, but like having like to use your imagination to that
enjoyed the
level
book.
is
It's a good time.
great. Yeah, having to use your imagination to that level is great, right? The stuff that typically
Yosa.
is annoying is like when people have to like ramble on and on and on. But like I like books that describe things in like fuckloads of like detail, and it obviously takes a long time to get to the point. So like, you know, so yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really, like I said, I guess it's not really recommendation for everybody, but you know, obviously it takes a long time just to say that thing. Obviously the story is not as deep as people like. I mean, it's, you know, it's not as how you say it, it's not very complicated, if that makes any sense. It's very short, like short and to the point. But
Edmund takes his place in the body bag to be yoked unceremoniously into the sea, manages to finagle his way to the island of Monte Cristo, retrieve his giant windfall of buried treasure, and then set about on his revenge scheme to systematically unravel the lives and accomplishments of the people who stole his future away. His
yeah, pretty simple, honestly.
vengeance scheme is a resounding success, and he even manages to help out some deserving innocents on the side, and once he's fully sated,
Yeah, some innocence on the side, and you know, just some innocence that you know, don't worry about the pages where you know, don't worry about the pages where he what do I call it, where he's like how do I say this, where he's like aggrandizing rape. So anyway,
plus or minus a little soupçon of regret, Edmond sails off into the sunset with a new potential for happiness codependently clinging to his arm. And that's the Count of Monte Cristo. Boy, what a refreshingly brisk turnaround.
also talking about like people's sins like randomly at some point, but
I don't know what
it was the 1800s, so
I was so worried about. Hell, we could have boiled it down even further and just summed it up as revenge is cool and sexy, actually. But to do so would be doing the story
yeah.
a disservice, because the first thing we need to understand about the Count of Monte Cristo is it is incredibly character-driven. The plot is not where
Yes, duh.
the fun stuff is hiding. The plot is not why the story is over 300,000 words long.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody reads Monte Cristo just to like, I don't think anybody reads Monte Cristo. Like, maybe that's why people don't like Monte Cristo too much, because it's, what do you call it? Because it's like, you know, now that I think about it, now that might be the reason why a lot of people don't like it. Now that I think about it, I guess, yeah, people that may not be like very invested in like the characters might actually realize that they wasted their time a lot. Like a lot of people don't, a lot of people that I know don't like it, so. There's a book club I went to that they absolutely like, I got so torched for not hating Monte Cristo. And I'm starting to realize why, because I like terrible things, not even terrible things. Like I told you guys like how I like bad movies and like bad like I like even when things are really like, I like what do you call it? Things that have a lot of like time and effort put into them, even if it's really bad. Like with movies and shit, it's kind of the same thing where it's like, you know, it's kind of the same thing, or like even when things like slog on for a very long time, as long as I like, you know, the writer is having fun or the person that made it is having fun, I'm having fun, if that makes any sense. Where did you post it? Let me see. Oh my god. Whoa. Damn, that thing is colorful. Sweet. I get more phone's depression art. Yay. I like how you made it like you like in the profile it's like really happy, and this one it's like really depressed. That's wild. Yes. Very, very adorable pony. Let's see, what's this one? Oh, jeez. God damn. Good job, dude. Fuck yeah. God, I see, like, I don't know. I totally see you doing something really, like, wild in the future, phones, honestly. I really fucking hope at one point I really hope in the future at one point you have, like, a really successful, like, creepy show, if that makes any sense.
Like what?
I don't know, something. You have a lot of characters that can be, like, you know, really, like, depressing and shit. And, like, you have a very dark undertone to a lot of, like, your art style. And I really like that. And it's, like, and I really, like, I don't know. I totally see you as, like, a very good, like, visual artist at one point. I have a feeling in the future you are going to make someone, like, if, you know, I have a feeling in the future, like, at the very least, you're going to make someone else's, like, horror dreams come true. So, you know, like, dreams of making, like, a horror, like, a very, like, creepy show come true. So, creepy show or movie, I don't know, something. You're going to make some really cool shit in the future. I already see it. So...
That is stored in the characters, and there are a lot of characters. Obviously, Edmond Dantes is our main boy and the driving force behind the story, but he's got a pretty unique framing compared to everybody else. Edmond starts the story off as, bluntly, a nice kid with not much going on upstairs. He loves his dad, loves his girlfriend, loves sailing, and doesn't really worry about much.
Let's see. I'll be lurking on playing an old political game? Wow.
Else until he gets framed for complex political treason stuff and dumped in forever jail. Once he finishes cooking in the Chateau d'If and officially becomes the Count of Monte Cristo, Edmond very intentionally turns himself into a secondary character in everyone else's story, retreating into the background to the point where the audience isn't even always sure where he is in a given situation. He assumes several false identities, including that of the Count. Edmond Dantes, the real person who really cares about his revenge and all the things he's lost.
Okay, yeah, so she's gonna be talking about the most interesting characters already.
Is basically gone from the story until the very end when his scheme is complete. We lose almost all internality on him after he becomes the Count, and the audience starts having to gauge his plans and schemes by observing his actions from the outside and working to deduce exactly what he's up to. Edmond's main MO when dealing with the targets of his vengeance is to identify their weaknesses of character and then work out how best to exploit them. If they've committed some crime, he'll expose it. If they're unwise with their money, he'll encourage them to be worse. If they've got family scandals brewing, he might help them boil over. There's a very...
It is, I will say, like this, yeah, that is the main reason, like, that is the main reason why it's always kept me on my toes, too, because, like, you have to be very invested in that part of the, like, that part of the story, and, like, have to be, like, you know, worried about the constant looming threat, like, in order for, like, you know, in order for you to be into it. If you're not, then it's just not gonna, like, it's not a read for you, I guess. It's not a good read for you, I guess. But, you know.
Intentionally karmic angle to the bulk of the character drama that Edmond whips up. The characters could always choose not to do the bad thing they know is wrong, but they could have chosen that back when they condemned him to forever prison too, and that's why he knows they won't. He sets up the dominoes, but lets the other characters knock them over. Edmond frames himself as a divinely appointed arbiter of justice, but let's be real, this is all very Bugs Bunny. From Edmond's perspective, this story is the slow...
I never thought that. That's actually such a good way of describing it, though. I never thought of it like that. I never fucking thought of it like that. Sorry, I know that I'm not giving much commentary. I never thought of it, like, thought of the fact that, yeah, he's just kind of, it is very cartoonish, I guess. It makes sense, because, I mean, you know, I mean, this is a common theme amongst books, like from the 1800s, too, though, so. I guess I was very used to it, but, wow. Here I am thinking that it's, like, extra clever.
Satisfying catharsis of seeing your hated enemies rip themselves apart as you forge for yourself the justice you were denied. For everyone else in the book, this story is a full-blown psychological horror. So let's bite the bullet, get to the hard part, and explain who all these people are. Don't worry, There will be charts. Central to the story are, of course, the bad guys who got Edmond yeeted into forever prison in the first place. Fortunately, there's only 3 of them, so this part should be nice and breezy. The guy who concocts the whole scheme is this fella Danglars, whose complex and nuanced motivation is that he wants Edmond's work promotion. Basically through a complicated series of historically significant politically conspiratorial
Is she gonna explain the entire book? I just realized, like, I thought she was gonna talk about it, like... Huh. Okay. I guess I should have expected that, but, like, I don't know, I thought she was gonna review it, not just explain the book.
events that Edmond is fully oblivious to, Danglars realizes that their recently deceased captain was working with Noirtier Villefort, a known Napoleon sympathizer at a time when that was a very unpopular thing to be, and Edmond, charged by the dead captain to deliver a letter to the aforementioned Noirtier Villefort, could easily be implicated as a Bonapartist himself with just one well-placed denunciation. This will bundle up Edmond in prison and leave his ship captaining prospects free for the taking, which is great for Danglars, but there's always a risk
Yeah, I mean, to a cartoonish level, once again.
of consequences if the false accusation gets traced back to him, and he can't be having that, so what he really needs is someone else on his side to potentially take the fall for him if his scheme gets found out. Fortunately, this is when he encounters
For how much you guys also send me this, like, for how much you send me, like, reviews of, like, or people reviewing, like, certain books, what do I call it? You guys should recommend, you guys should recommend a book for me to, like, read. Or maybe I should find just, like, a book to read, and, like, maybe I should do that on stream at one point. Like, one point we have, like, just a reading stream. That would be interesting. I mean, I would have to have, like, some way of, like, visually showing you guys some stuff, though, because, like, I know just reading is, like, something that really isn't that visually stimulating, but you guys don't really watch me for visually stimulating stuff anyway.
High Color 3.
Hello, how you doing, Infamous? I feel like I should, like, maybe start with, like, a book that's a little easier. Like, I could start with, like, maybe, like, The Hunger Games or something really, really easy. Like, what? I don't know. Like, or maybe I should do more of a modern book. Maybe that's what I should do, because
Okay, I can recommend something if you want.
Yeah.
I'll just have to figure something out.
Yeah. Well, that's
doing
what
good
I'm
review.
saying. Like, I would have to figure out, like, how to, I'm doing good, Infamous. Yeah, I would have to, like, copy and paste shit into a document or something. And, like, so I can just read it, like,
And also, I just finished Hunger Games. It's pretty good.
finish Hunger Games. Oh, okay. Alright, then. Then we will probably not read Hunger Games. Or maybe we will. I don't know if you're willing to read, like, listen to it again, but probably not. I don't know. I could do more of a modern book too. I don't have to do like old literature, but you know.
encounters bad guy number 2, Fernand Mondego, the cousin of
Oh, I see, I
Edmund's
would agree.
girlfriend, Mercedes, whose big motivation is that he also
Oh yeah, I was also like, I'm not gonna lie as well, like every time fucking Mercedes pops up as well, like for some odd fucking reason, I could like every scene that like Mercedes was like around, for some odd fucking reason my brain like just kept picturing, like I had this like really funny scene where she's just basically like they're just basically a car, right? Like, where they're just basically just a fucking car. And I'm like, I don't know why, but I could not get that out of my brain. And, like, the scenes, like, that were supposed to be really fucking serious were so fucking, like, I could not stop laughing.
That's pretty funny.
Because of how ridiculous some scenarios, like, get into. You'll see what I mean in just a moment, but, it is, like, if she's explaining the book, you'll know what I mean, dude. Some of the scenes get comedically funny when you get to that level. That's probably why I
I
enjoyed
recommend
it
The
so
Giver by
much
Lois Lowry.
too.
I read it in middle school and is about a world ruled by mediocrity and strict hierarchy, and how unique individual lives with change when they're the only one that experiences it.
Yes, I know The Giver. Yeah, the one where freaking what's his name that sees all the freaking doesn't like where he was like he has like something that's different about him, and like he can see like certain like very faint colors sometimes. Yeah. The Giver is a good read. We should I have talked about The Giver a lot, like on the stream. Maybe I should. You know what? You're right. Maybe I should read The Giver on stream. I've read it before, but I would
I
not.
never read Giver. Our class split up on which book we read, so I read fucking A Wrinkle in Time.
Oof. bummer. The Giver is much better. I'll say that. The Giver is far better. Like, it is a very good book. I will say the other ones aren't like the trilogy or like the other ones where like, you know, where they go into like
It appears we're all fans of literature.
Yeah, I would say that maybe what do you call it?
Like the whole payoff of the book was the power of love or some shit.
Yes. Well, the original, yeah, well, the problem is they also meet with like fucking like Anne Frank and shit. It's really fucking dumb after a while. They get to like the World War II shit. It's really fucking dumb after that. But The Giver itself, like, you know.
There's also Passing by Nella Larson, about a woman who lives in the segregated 1930s but sometimes can pass as white. It's slightly less than 100 pages.
What do you call it? There's also Passing by Nella Larson, about a woman who gives in the segregated 1930s. Lives in, oops, sometimes can pass as white, slightly. Oh yes, I've read that before, dude. Yeah. That's the book I was fucking talking. Oh my god, Super Shafts. You just unlocked. Oh shit. Okay, hold on. Fucking ad played. Damn it, dude. He missed the fucking moment that I freaked the fuck out. Hold on. Hold on. I guess I gotta wait.
Stop talking. There's an ad.
I know.
Ad over.
I know. I'll stop talking now. Fucking Super Shafts.
Never mind.
Super Shafts. You literally, like, you missed my fucking freak out. But yes, you remember the book I was fucking talking about, like, a few streams ago about that? Yes, that's the exact book I was fucking talking about, dude. I fucking, like, yeah. Dude, that's, like, I was literally talking about that book, like, a few streams ago when you were on here and we were trying to figure out the name of the book. You figure, like, that is exactly the one I was talking about. Yes, dude. Oh my god. Fucking thank you. Jesus, I was trying to remember the name of that book, man. Dude, we should, yeah, like, fucking, we should totally...
Night by Eliezer Wiesel is pretty good. It's on the Holocaust, so it's pretty graphic because it's about his experience in the camps.
Night by... Yeah, I know. Night was the one that I thought I read, but I read a different one that was, like, was before they figured all that stuff out, and it's, like, a lot more bone-chilling, but... Yeah, Night would be also a good one.
You're welcome. I didn't even know you were looking for it.
Yeah, no, yeah, because remember we were talking about it on stream and I couldn't remember the fucking name of it? Like, I'm so surprised you actually, like, I'm surprised that actually popped up again. Like, that's actually good, though, because you, like, yeah. Night would be a good one, too, but The Giver is, like, if we're gonna read, like, what do you call it? If we're gonna read, like, Night, I would probably just say The Giver would probably be a little bit more of an interesting one. Well, that one's a little lighter, though. It depends on how dark you want it. Do you, like, Night is where you're, like, what do you call it? Night is, like, where we go from, like, you know, The Giver is,
I have the book written down as my favorites on Newgrounds, because it was that memorable to me.
Yeah, no, dude, it's a good read, dude. I haven't read that book in years, but yeah, dude, fucking hell yeah, man. Passing would be a good one, but then again, like I said, The Giver is one that's like more generalized. That would be one that more people would probably be interested in because it's like not like Night would be like a lot more graphic, and I don't know how much people would be interested in something that bad or that, you know, that scary or like creepy, not creepy, but like how much people would be like into a book that's that, like, you know, insane. Because there's also a lot going on too. Yeah, we could definitely, like I said, The Giver is probably a good start because The Giver is also pretty short too, I think. The Giver is a really short one too, so we could start short and go from there. Because The Giver is literally like a.
I feel like it's very eye-opening. Plus, we are slowly slipping into WW3.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Very much, dude. Slowly, we're already in World War III. Not slipping into it. The Giver is like an elementary school read. Like, I read this in elementary school, but like, so yeah, it's only like less than 300 pages. That would be a good start. Because Night is pretty long as well, but we could start with a really short one. Because The Giver is it's also not like, it doesn't have as complex of like vocabulary as well. So it's like, you know, it would be a good start, you know. Because I don't, like, if I go into really old, like, you know, if I go into, like, certain literature, like...
And if you skip intro, it's a couple hundred pages.
Skip intro, it's a couple hundred pages. Yeah, exactly. It's a very, like, what, Night is a short? No, Night is much longer. Hold on. Hold on. No. Hold on. Night is far longer. Yes, I think it is. No, it is not. Night is less than 100 pages? Wait, really? That can't be right. There's 100, not less than 100 pages. It's 120 pages. That's a really light, like, that's a light read. Really? I don't remember Night being that short.
I thought so.
I don't remember Night being that short. That is a super light read. Interesting. Wow. I really thought The Giver was shorter. Because The Giver is like it's a lot less complex too, man. Like, The Giver is way less complex than what do you call it? Than frickin' Night. Hmm. I really rather read The Giver though. I'm not gonna lie, like, Night is really graphic. I just thought Night was a lot longer though. I'm just shocked that it isn't. I'm shocked that Night is like, you know. And... Alright then. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should we read Night? Like, Night is pretty bad, pretty wild. It's a wild read. It's a very, very depressing read, but, you know, it just depends on what you guys feel like there. I don't know. It would definitely be very stream friendly, like, not stream friendly. It would be like, yeah, very, like, you know, it wouldn't take us that long to, like, read it. Because it would only take, like, maybe, God knows, very few streams to finish it. I don't know. I don't know. What y'all think? I could do a poll, too, to make it a little easier. Dang, I just can't believe The Giver is, like...
I don't know, lol.
Yeah. The question is if you guys even want me to. Like I said, I'll do it, like, one stream per week. So it's like, or one, like, I'll do it during one stream.
Sorry, I'm still kinda stream looking.
Like, each stream. So it's like, not, like, I won't do it every single stream. I'll do it, like, every week we'll have one stream where I just read, right? You know? Like, where I just simply read. And we'll see what people think about it. Because, I mean, like, to be fair, like, now that, like, you know, that's, like, a popular thing now, it wouldn't be too bad of an idea. Probably a category now, too, on Twitch. Yes, it is. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, never mind. Yeah. Oh, people are putting that as ASMR, too. Interesting. Yeah, people are reading a lot more, like, a lot more modern books, too, I've noticed. It is definitely a thing, though.
I'd be doing homework at the same time.
I'll be doing homework at the same time. Yeah, that's fair. I don't know if I'll be throwing you off or not, too, because that could be a bit of a problem. Yeah, there's a whole category called writing and reading. Yeah, there's just a whole category for it now. Interesting.
I will say be careful because a lot of books have smut now.
Careful because a lot of books have smut now. Oh, yeah, that could be true. People could just be, like, you know, reading some very slutty stuff. Well, here's the well, there's the one that I want to read is, like, there's one that a friend recommended me, and it's, like, about this, it's technically just Ghost in his Shell again, but, like, it's technically Ghost in a Shell again, but it's a little bit more, It's a little bit more like it's a little bit more intense. Like it like already starts like with the character like in a pretty bad position, if that makes any sense. So I'm like, I don't know. It like I read the first few pages and it seemed a little nuts. I'm like, I just kind of want to read it, but you know, then we'll read a book that we've never heard before, you know. Well, I guess it would be an audiobook for you guys. Pet Cemetery seems to be one that someone's reading right now. Interesting. I wonder how people are doing this, though. Okay, I'm trying to, like, see how people stream it, because what it is... seems like... No, wait, this person's writing. Never mind. This person's writing, Dang, this is like a person just making a full-blown book about this person. Okay, this guy's reading. Oh, this guy's reading philosophy. Oof. This guy just has like a still JPEG. Interesting. Hold on, let me listen.
You know.
Never mind. Okay. Never mind. It's not. That's why it's a still JPEG, because it's not reading anything. Game of Thrones. Of course, someone's reading Game of Thrones. That makes sense. Of course, someone's reading Game of Thrones. Of course, someone's reading Game of Thrones. That makes sense. Trying to see if anybody, like... I'm just trying to see how they, like, do it, because... This guy... I think this guy might be on a break a little bit. Let me see. It might be, like, a pause stream. Let's see, is it music? Oh yeah, he's on a... He's paused it so far. I'm trying to see, like, what people are doing exactly. You know what? Hold on. Because here's the thing. I know Kaisenet doesn't have anything on his screen, but I'm trying to see how people typically stream it. Because, like, I don't know if they just, like, buy it from Amazon and then they read it from there. I guess I would, like, this guy, there's one guy that just has, like, a straight-up camera on it. So... There's just a guy that has, like, a straight-up camera on his. Sorry, I'm trying to, like, figure out what this is. Let me see.
Back.
Oh, she's not reading anymore. Hold on. Jesus Christ. Okay. Okay, never mind. This person's drawing. I guess I probably should have looked a little bit sooner. This person, like, there's a lot of people that are just, like, chatting now, which is such a bummer. Because I was, like, trying to see... Yeah, this person's drawing now. Bummer, dude. Holy shit. God damn, that art is crazy looking. Okay, interesting. Yeah. I just don't... Reading alchemy. Alchemy?
Great. Okay, let me tell you about the cream, because you're asking the same question that I asked.
Okay. Okay. Damn. I was trying to see what people were like, how people are showing, like, how you say it, how people are showing their freaking, like, what they're reading, but I just don't know. There's people that are doing it, I just, you know, really was hoping to check. Hold on. You know what, I'm gonna check a stream that is like, I'm gonna check a stream. I'm gonna check a VOD that is like, quick. I'm gonna check a stream. I'm gonna stop me. Hold on. I'm gonna check a VOD real quick. See if that works. Oh shit. And check a VOD then. See what is like Damn it! I didn't mean to pull up this guy.
Okay.
I actually
Death
pulled
Lord
up
here
a
on your
fucking
left.
dude named Reed. Awesome.
Also, Strange coming in.
Stop it. Damn. Need to be English though. So many fucking people in like different languages. I need English, please. Hold on. This person is reading Stephen King, but maybe they'll show it. No, they're just showing the cover of it. Damn. I wish there's like a category that wish there's like a category where it's like, because I want to find somebody that's done this for a long time, dude. Or somebody that's been doing this for a bit. There has to be, right? People have to at least be doing it a little bit. You know what? Hold on. Let me try something. Let me go on YouTube, and let me just look up a VOD. Maybe I can find it. Reading... I don't fucking know, man. Like, what's like a popular book right now? Nope, this is tips and tricks on how to read. No. Hold on. You know what? Let me pull up Stephen King. Let me see if people can, like, fucking give me something. Okay, yep. Video. Yeah, that didn't really help. Hold on, I need a VOD. VOD. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Finally. Jesus. Okay. How does this person visually show, like, what they're reading? Or not? Nope, they're just talking about what they read. God damn it! Am I just like, what, like, bro, I know this was popular, because if it wasn't popular, then, like, someone would have, like, I know this was a popular thing to do. It's like, I know it was, because I saw a bunch of people fucking doing it. So it's like, what the hell? Why am I having so much trouble finding people doing this? God damn it. Alright, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to Kick. Let me see if I can... I doubt that any of these degenerates are reading, but I need to find a VOD of, like, people reading. This has its own category! Okay, there is definitely people... Okay, so there are people just showing it on screen. So, like, I guess, like, maybe I can, like, show it on screen. I just don't want to get in trouble when I stream, like, me reading something, right? I don't want, like, Amazon to be like, oh, hey, you can't do that, right? You know? It's like, I don't want, like, them looking at, like, you know, I don't want them fucking looking at, like, my stream and be like, oh, yeah, well, sorry, that's copyright, and then fucking my stream gets taken down because I read something off of Amazon. Like, you know, bought a book and then, like, read it, you know? I guess that it's the same rules with games, right? It's transformative enough, but jeez. I don't know, man. It's like, part of me doesn't want to, like, just read a book and then get, like, fucking banned off of Twitch. I guess it doesn't matter. I'll find a way, you know? When there's a will, there's a way, you know? So. Ugh. Let's see. What the fuck?
Yay, reading.
There's a free version? What the hell? Wait, what? No, that's only 93 pages long, though. What the hell?
Swear he's still doing homework.
You're good. There's a free version of this. That's only 93... Okay, it's only 93 pages long, though. There's no... Yeah, because the original is like 192, I think. Oh, fuck? That's so weird, though. There's just, like, a straight-up book that is, like... It's, like, free online. 182 pages. Just a PDF. A straight-up PDF. Wait, what? Oh my god, we could just read The Giver for free? Excuse me? Okay. Maybe this is how I show it on screen, then. Maybe I just read it on screen. Hold on. Wow. Huh. This is just, interesting. Wow. Huh. 182 pages of it is just like for free online. That's weird. Hold on. How long is the giver again? It's... Hold on. 240. There's just 182 free pages on here. I'm gonna assume that not all of it is here. Because that's like crazy. That's just like blatantly free. That's so weird. Aha. This has to be cut down quite a bit then. There's just no way. This has to be cut down quite a bit. Because I'm like, I don't know why there's only, like, I don't know exactly. Because it's like on a Google document, so it's like, I don't know actually. How many pages? Hold on. Why are there so many free versions of it? There's like a shitload
Recently,
of...
I've been reading The Glass Menagerie from Tennessee Williams.
Yeah. There's like a free version of it. Okay, hold on. There's 100 and... Yeah, there we go. 93, 180. Okay. There's a lot of them that have 180 pages, which is interesting. Wonder why that is. Oh, whoa. Oh, shit. There's just like a full-blown archive of it, too. Oh, shit. That's a really annoying way of reading it. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. That is going to be a really annoying way of reading it, but I mean... Might all be here. Hold on.
And apparently, Tennessee Williams was a fellow gay man. In the 1940s while in New York City, he was known to have a male lover.
I think we already talked about this, didn't we? Hold on.
We did talk about this, yeah.
Yeah. There was like a full-blown like video on it too. Very interesting. I actually don't know how many pages they took. Because like unfortunately it's at like 448, but I don't know how many pages is like it's like they took from it. But it is very interesting. I'm gonna assume that it's not all of them, but it's kind of crazy that there's just an archive version of it. You know. Oh, this one just says it's straight up the full book. That's a lie, though. It can't be the full book. Why would I be able to access the full book, like, just on its own?
High color.
Like, for free? There's no way, dude. This one, I don't even know where the fuck I am. Hold on. Hello. How are you doing, phones? Welcome back. Sorry, I'm, like, looking at, like, I'm just, like, trying to see... Because this one is even... Like, this was just saying it's just got the full book, which, like, I don't believe for a second. There's just no way.
Also, do you happen to know about The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton? I enjoyed that book as a kid. It's about gang violence and trying to lay low from the law.
Really? It's about gang violence. The Outsiders. I have heard of it, yes.
Oh yeah, Outsiders rocks 3.
Yeah. Yeah. I have not read it, though, unfortunately. I should probably. Okay, a lot of these end at 180 pages, which is interesting, because does that mean that the 240 pages... I'm just very confused, because... I'm just curious, because is this like a... Like, what is it leaving out here is the question. It's definitely leaving something out, right? It's got all the chapters, because it had 23 chapters. And these are, like, really short chapters. I mean, like, look how short these chapters are, too. Like, you know, they're not very long. Like, you know, here's chapter 22, boom, straight into 23. So...
Hi, Phone.
I don't think this is all of it, right?
Hi, me.
Would I be crazy just to, like, just read it, like, you know, to just read it on stream here, maybe? Should I? I mean, I don't know.
Hi PH0 Nez.
Like, what am I really missing exactly?
You want to do some drawings?
Do some drawings? I probably should, yeah. Probably should.
No, not really me.
Not really me. What do you mean? Yeah, I mean...
Oh, sorry, Kohler, I'm talking to myself.
Oh, okay. I don't know, dude. Yeah, this definitely has it for sure. I'm just trying to see if there was a cutoff moment. I don't know. We'll what do I call it? We're gonna what do I call it? We'll probably I'll keep that archive. I'll keep that like later though. Yeah, because that's just straight up crazy that just the full blown book is here. It's only got 100. It's at 180 though. I like, but the Amazon says it's 240. That's why I'm just trying to make sure that that is the actual like full blown, you know, like book. A lot of these are at 180 pages, which is interesting. No, this is not part of copyrighted work which begins after the phrase begin content. Interesting.
Done with me homework.
Nice. Yeah, maybe we'll, I don't know. Maybe we'll read it. I don't know. Maybe we'll take a, maybe we'll just read that version. I don't know. Like, considering I have to show something on the screen, I guess we could just technically, like, you know, read it that way. I mean, to be fair, I could probably find it at the library, too.
It was pretty cool teaching us how to budget in real life.
Pretty cool teaching us how to budget in real life. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. Fucking. I don't know. Maybe we'll, what do I call it? Maybe we'll read it in the future. Like, I really, like I said, maybe like one stream per.
Like we looked for apartments and shit transport subscriptions food ECT.
Yeah, I got that. That'll probably change a lot though, depending on where you live. What was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Yeah, I used to take a financial app class that would help. That would like teach me that kind of stuff and like doing my taxes and shit back then. What was I gonna say? Yeah, it was interesting. It was kind of essential for the time that it existed. I was definitely prepared when I was 18 for sure. The one thing, how do I say it? Yeah, like I said, maybe like once, like I said, one like each. So on the stream, so we'll do maybe one stream per week that is based off of what do you call it? That is based off of like we'll read something. I don't know.
I don't know. I found a 4-bedroom apartment for $409, and after budgeting really hard, I ended up with $1,000 left over.
Sorry, where the fuck do you live, Infamous? $409 for a hold on, for a
Illinois.
4-bedroom? Illinois. The fuck? What apartment
It was a college apartment.
Okay, so that, but you have to actually go to that college to pay, like, to be in that, though. That's like, that is like really fucking low. There ain't no way you found an apartment for $400. There just ain't no way. That is impossible. In modern day, there's no way, dude. Hold on, I'm gonna look at this real quick. Where did you find
Nope,
that?
it was on Zillow. Only benefit on being a student was utilities covered.
Let's see. Being a student was utilities covered? What?
I don't know.
Hold on. How the fuck did you... Bro, like, if that's the case, I would be moving to... Well, I guess Illinois is pretty shitty. It's probably very dangerous to move to. You know, for what I am. But, damn.
I can send screenshot.
Well, no, don't do that, because you'll dox yourself. Hold on. How did you even find an apartment? Oh, I guess for rent, huh?
It's far away from me.
Still. Well, if you have a car, I don't think that matters, to be honest. Hold on. Okay, let's go... Wait, whoa. Hold on. Hold on, sorry.
Either way, I found it, plus it was furnished.
Yeah. Oh my god, there's a lot of lots for sale. Trying to see, like... Man, if you wanted to build a home here too, you could get it pretty cheap. Damn, there's a house for 11,000 there. That's crazy. There's probably not a lot of jobs around though, let's be honest. 'Cause if houses are that cheap, then jobs are just not very flush then, probably in those areas. 'Cause like, good god, dude.
I just did IL set budget to 700 and then furnished and found it.
Yeah. Interesting. 529 a month. Yeah, you weren't kidding. That's crazy, dude. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna assume that the minimum wage is like 7.25 there. But still, that's still crazy though. Hold on. Minimum wage. I'm gonna assume it's gonna be really hard to get a job there though too.
You will never find prices like that in NYC. No, sir.
No, definitely not. 15 an hour. This is crazy. What the fuck? Hold on. You guys get paid 15 an hour. There's just here's the problem though. Here's the thing, Super Chefs. Let me bring this down to reality for a second. There's probably not many jobs around there. Let's be frank. Like, if I probably were to look for a job in Illinois, it probably would be really fucking hard to find. So, like...
Chicago controls the state. Basically, we are a farm state, TBH.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, so they're a farm state. So they don't have many jobs there. So,
You said
yeah.
it.
Did I say the thing is?
Then
Really?
again, the job market and wages in NYC is higher than most.
Yeah. Again, wages is higher. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's just like where I live, it's kind of similar, right? Like, there's not many places where you can go. But that's crazy, though. It's like, if I ever wanted to, like, buy a house or something,
We have
like,
countryside and then Chicago, and living near there is expensive.
yeah. Damn, dude, that's crazy, though. Hold on. I'm gonna actually check Australia, too. One moment. I'm gonna see, is Australia really, like... I'm gonna actually check, like, okay, what if you, like, buy a house? Hold on. I'm actually genuinely curious, like, if you're gonna buy, like, a house, how much that would genuinely, like, what do you call it? How much that would genuinely be. Let's see here. Springfield. Anyway, sorry, I'm, like, being weird, but...
It just sucks that Chicago controls the state when it's only really benefiting the city and not the rest of the state. It's probably cheaper in the rest of New York, just like Zen's scenario in Illinois.
Yeah, probably. Scenario in Illinois, probably. Hold on. Yeah, there's like straight up like a house that you can get here for like, what do I call it? Where is it? Where's the house again? Sorry, I'm trying to look for it, but it's absolutely fucking crazy.
I didn't say anything.
No, it wasn't Zen, it was Infamous Super Chefs. Let's see, where was it? Yeah, like right around here.
I meant Infamous. Whoops. That was Infamous.
Where was it? Where was it? This one? No, it wasn't this one. This was 12K. Where was it? There was like one where like a house was like super fucking cheap. It was crazy. Hold on. There's one where it was like stupidly cheap. It was like 10,000 or some shit, which sounds insane. Hold
Yeah,
on.
I see it now. I think I'm too tired.
You're good. Super shafts. Let's see. Plot.
It's just lack of jobs and less in Chicago.
There we go. 5,000 for just like for like being in deep
Or St. Louis.
for being St. Louis. Yeah. Fucking. Oh, this one says coming soon though. It's interesting, but still $5,000 for a fucking house, like a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. Not bad, honestly. I mean, that's not bad. That's like fucking so affordable. That is crazy affordable where I live. Like, but here's the problem. Property tax calculator. Let's find out. Let's look at a property tax calculator though. So if I were to like, you know, first off, let's do, what was this again? Illinois, East St. Louis. Let's see. East St. Louis, Illinois. And then the estimated
I'm gonna go back into
value
stream lurking.
is 5.
If I don't come back, have a good night, everyone.
No problem.
Yeah, I searched it, and in Chicago there is an apartment at like 299,000.
Oh shit. It says the minimum's 10,000. It won't even like do anything less than that. 209 annual. So you have to pay 209 on property taxes annually. Interesting. So yeah, so like not bad, dude. So just like straight up. So you have to pay 209 on taxes every month, which or not month, every year, which ain't bad. $209 every year. And that's like a $10,000 property versus that 5,000 one. That ain't bad. 209 and then you know, but then you have to account for like bills and shit. But let's say like bills cost like, I mean, bills are really high here. Like bills could be like 300 here at max. So I'd say maybe like what, like 200, 150 there probably every month though. So I'm like, I don't know. That's so strange though. Like straight up,
Tasty color. Carrot, carrot.
you have to
Basic summary: don't live near the cities and you're fine. Hi.
Yeah, that's crazy though. Well, that's not true where I live. Even if you don't live near a city where I live, they'll like houses here are super fucking expensive. Like they're like houses are like $100,000 houses, and rent is like 2,000 a month. You know, so I'm like, you know, it don't matter where you live, even if you're out in the middle of fucking butt fuck nowhere, they don't care. So Illinois is quite north, though. It's interesting. I don't know. Next to like Wisconsin.
I just found an
and
apartment in Chicago for
Michigan.
$1 million.
Apartment in Chicago for $1 million. Jesus Christ. It's crazy. Yeah, you're closer to like over here, though. Interesting. Yeah, you're not like super south either. I was like, okay, are you like, because if you're like super south, like down here, then yeah, fuck that. Like this is a bad area to be in, like Tennessee and what do you call it, and Arkansas, even Oklahoma can be a little iffy. Kansas is really bad too. Yeah, Iowa. Oh, you guys are next to Iowa, which is funny. My roommate's from there. Originally lived from there, yeah. Classic Alabama being bad too. I don't know. Kentucky obviously is bad. I don't know, man. Yeah. It's interesting though. Being on this side of like, I'll say being on this side, like really depends, I guess, where you live too, you know? Like Colorado, we're
The
next.
second you get to Southern Isle, it's more red state, but it's cheap AF.
It's really, really funny though, because I'm like, hold on, let me see. State. Ooh. Let's see. Or not state map, whoops, hold on. I guess this works. Let's see here. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. Everything got so red. I swear to
Hello there, Lord
God.
Cell Dog.
I swear it looked a lot more blue before, but Jesus Christ. Damn, we're like light red now. We used to be like very purple.
Like Northern Isle and Southern Isle are completely different.
Yeah. Oh. Northern Illinois and Southern Illinois completely different. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh. I mean, you look at this map and it's like, it looks really bad, but the irony is like, you know, it depends on, I guess, where you live, I guess, you know, so. Like, this place is all over the place, but yeah, I mean, you know, we're next to like 2, 3, 4 blue states, so we're not too bad, honestly. This one's light blue, but, you know, it's just the problem is, it's just the people that live here, man. Like, it just, a lot of fucking hicks, like, just moved here, and it's just gotten so bad here. Like, it's
Literally
ironic
the whole state of Isle
because...
is red except Chicago, and that's why we are blue state.
Let's see, Illinois is red except for Chicago. Oh, I did not know that. Oh yeah, and Chicago's had some issues, hasn't it?
I'm in a blue state.
Interesting. Yeah. It is very interesting, you know, being in a very mixed, like, you know, usually a very mixed state. Like, I'm in a red state, but the irony is like, even though I'm in a red state, usually things aren't...
Replying to PH0NES, I'm in a blue state, so am I thankfully.
Things weren't as bad here for a while, but the fucking problem is, it's like, I don't know, man. It's like, it's because I live in, like, I always live in such diverse areas, too, you know? I've just never been in an area, I've never lived in an area where it's like, you know, where people are just like all white or all like Hispanic or all black or all like anything like that. I mean, well, that's a lie, sorry. I've been in areas where people have lived, like, where it's been mostly Hispanic people, but again, that's not typically a bad thing because Hispanic people kind of live fucking everywhere here, so it's like, it's not surprising, you know? It's like, it's a lot more common that I see a Hispanic person than I do a white person here, if that makes any sense. Well, that's also a lie. I don't know, man. It's just, most of my life, I've lived, like, it's either I've seen a lot of Asian people, a lot of Hispanic people, or, like, a lot of black people. Like, it's very interesting, and I'm sorry to say this, but like, a lot of times when I meet more Hispanic people, they're more pleasant than black people. Like, the black people and white people here. It's just very different. Like, it's a very different experience here, I'll say that. But it's also because, like, you know, I don't know, it's ironic because it comes from, like, people that, like, used to be a lot more... I'm sorry, I'm being racist, but, like, you know...
Chicago controls the whole state even though we are mostly farmland. Don't get me wrong, I like that we are blue, and Chicago makes every decision we make in half the time it benefits only the city.
I'm gonna be severely racist here. It's like, it's very interesting because, like, natives... Like, Native Americans or, like, tribal... I still don't know what the proper name is for fucking natives. What do I call it? Natives, Hispanic people, and, like, fucking, what do I call it? Hispanic people are the most pleasant people here. Sorry to say it. Like, they are. They're a lot more pleasant than anybody else. Like, sure, they get, like, you know... It's, like, it's so ironic because it feels like, you know... Like, I know that I'm not trying to be that fucking person, but it's like, you know, I know that it's based off of how people are raised and not the fucking race, but it is very ironic that, like, 90% of the people that I've met that have been, like, decent people are not the fucking white people. I like,
Indigenous people,
you know...
they're called.
Yeah, indigenous, thank you. You know? It's like, it's ironic, you know? Maybe it's because I lived around, you know, most people that are also, like, again... Most of my family are Hispanic too, so it's like maybe it's just because I'm fucking
I'm going off
used
to bed
to
now.
it. But like,
have a good night, Color, and the rest of chat.
All right, you have a good night, Super Shaft. Appreciate it. You know, call me fucking racist, but it's like, you know, I just genuinely find it more pleasant. And I know I'm like, it's ironic because
I don't know.
I know it's kind of ironic because I'm like fucking dating a black guy. So it's like, you know, it's not like it's not like I'm fucking, you know, I don't know. I have like an Asian roommate, a black guy, like, and, you know, and a fucking black guy that I date. And my best friend was like a black person. So it's like, you know, the irony is, it's like, you know, there's huge irony when it comes to this, but it's like, I don't fucking know, man. Obviously there's more Hispanic people around, but It's like 50% of our state or some shit. So it's like, I don't know. I've just had more pleasantness around other people. So I don't know. Obviously, I'm just being racist by this point. So I'll shut the fuck up. So, I'll shut up. But Jesus, man. Anyway.
Not my case. I'm Bengali yet I don't really like Bengali people that much, honestly. They can be a bit rude and manipulative.
Bengali people. Not my case. I'm Bengali yet I don't really like Bengali people that much. Honestly, they can be a bit rude and manipulative. Yeah, well, that's the fucking problem. You don't have, like... The problem is, like, Hispanic people are, like, culturally, like, very proud of their culture. Like, they're very proud of, like, Spaniard culture. So it's like, and especially, like, Mexican culture. So it's just a very positive environment most of the time. And, like, most people just get really fucking... Like, they're people that know how to party and get drunk. So it's like, there's obviously still, like, problems and shit.
Heading off,
but, like...
for real now.
Okay, you have good night, Super Shafts. It's like, the irony is, it's like, people that just genuinely have a very positive environment. So it's like, that's the irony. It's just a very positive environment most of the time. Now, don't get me wrong, you can get into, like, individual, like, obviously certain cultural things that can be a big of a problem, but, I don't know. There's a reason why, like, there's a reason why Hispanic people just tend to be happy, like, good people most of the time. Just saying, doesn't even matter. Like, I'm just saying, like, it just, obviously there's still, like, a lot of problems because culture problems, but, but again, there's just a little ironic that, like, by fucking, I don't know. Obviously there's still bad people of every race, but it's just very funny that it's like that I just experiences that I've had my whole life, like, I don't know, who knows, man. Anyway, I don't know. Not to mention, okay, sorry, I do have to bring this up. Not to mention, like, the fucking few times that I've run into, like, white people as well, like, they've always been problems for me. I don't, like, literally, the last guy I tried talking to, like, especially on here, like I said, the last guy I tried talking to that was, like, a fucking white guy, was, like, happened to be a fucking Nazi, like, like, a MAGA Nazi, no shit. It's like, goddamn, of course I fucking had to run into his ass. Like, it just...
I'm so sleepy.
I don't know. It's like, I know that white people typically aren't like this. It's just like...
So me gonna go night-night.
I don't know. It's just like, I run into this problem a lot. Call me fucking racist, but it's true, man. Maybe it's, maybe being... Alright, you have good night, Infamous. Appreciate you hopping on by. And then it's just me and you, Zen. Call me a fucking racist all you fucking want, but it's like, it's like, it's very clear that, my own personal experiences, I've just had better experiences with people that just aren't white. And that's probably, again, not saying that I, haven't had bad experiences with black people either, but, but that was mainly because of, like, like, a lot of the black people I've dealt with have been people that were like black people that were in very convenient positions and like very rare positions where their where they had like family members that were like ultra wealthy and very clearly like, obviously, knew how to, I don't know, that were born in a wealthy family and shit. And like, that's the main people that I've had bad experiences with that were black people. Never the ghetto people. A lot of the ghetto people are really fucking nice to me. Not saying that, obviously I've had people that have, I've obviously been threatened before, but again, that's because that's the ghetto, not the fact that they're fucking a black dude. Just saying, It's like racism goes both ways, but, that dude was raised around a different area, so... you could say the same thing with Nazis, but like, there's a lot of people that are just blatantly terrible people that clearly were not like raised in the ghetto. And clearly not people that went to prison a lot. Let me say that too. I get the reason why people they're, people in bad positions end up in bad, bad groups sometimes, and that's not necessarily their fault entirely. So, I don't know. See, I'm being fucking... See, I like I said, man, like that. This is like the whitest conversation we could probably have. Let's be fucking honest here. All right, I'm done. Let me stop talking. Are we? Are you still here, Zen? Or did my thing talking about fucking race theory like scare you away? So
I myself am white, and so is my family.
Yeah. I know. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be like that kind of person. It's just, it's very, very, like, it's just my own personal experiences, and it just pisses me off when it pisses me off when clearly, like, the internet is obviously not the best place to get, like, the average person, obviously, but, like, the internet has leaked into reality, like, a lot, and, it's pissed me off a little bit, Obviously, clearly it's meant to piss me off, but, Um, sorry, just looking at something.
You have a biased data set.
You have a biased data set. Yeah, exactly, Well, this is kind of the problem. It's like, I've lived a lot of experiences that people bitch about too. Like, I mean, like the problem is when I've lived a lot of experiences that fucking like that people have complained about, like a lot of the fucking extremists on like the internet have complained about. And, like, the irony is there's so much non-problems that fucking happen, man. And like, and they just bitch so much. And it's like, and then they act like me bitching is like not just like it's not like a reasonable response to them bitching, right? Because like I'm like a lot of the things I say has a lot of fucking backup and like evidence, right? I have the smart people behind me. This is the difference. Like the people that like, I'm a minority. I have the smart people that like I have the smart people like the scientists and the historians and the fucking like and like the fucking like researchers and even fucking philosophers lately. I've been really into like
Sure, I've met some discriminatory people,
artists,
but the majority of them are all right.
Exactly, dude. Like it's like the irony is it's just like I've had experiences like with a lot of certain people, but like unfortunately just white people are the people I've had the most problem with. And it's not because of the fact that like, it's not because of the fact that it's like, oh, all white people are like that. It's just like it's very clear that like it's very clear that like again the majority of the population that I've just run into has been like is very diverse, and I like it that way. If that makes any sense. Like, I like it that way. And it's like, it's very clearly made me a better person for not like, for being around like people that are just not my own race sometimes. Because, it's a night, like, again, I may be a Hispanic person, but I look white. I look pale as fuck. I look nothing like the rest of my, like, my extended family, right? Like, I just don't look like them. And then, like, and that's the thing is I definitely gain the benefits of it, and I could see that, like, I know what the issues are when it comes to, like, when it comes to, be, like, when it comes to, like, fucking being, like, a person that's not white in America, right? It's very clear, and I've seen, like, and I visually have seen all this shit that has happened, and it's, like, it's a hard thing to explain, it's a hard thing to explain, but it's, like, but it's not fun, it's not fun probably to be, it's not fun to like have that shit, right? I'm not saying it's not fun to be white. I'm saying it's not fun to have your family, like, watch your family like deal with all these extra problems that shouldn't really exist versus how you got treated, right? Like, it's weird, right? I could definitely see my benefits as a white guy. Well, I'm not white, but looking like a white guy. Like I said, I just pretend to be one. Like like I said, with the race thing, like with the little race sheet that they give you, that whole race sheet, I just always checkmark white because I'm like, I look white. So it's like, of course I'm going to checkmark white. Of course I'm going to take advantage of that shit. I don't think people recognize how much of an advantage you get when you're a white guy. Like, it's wild, but like when you mark white, there's a lot of like, when it comes to like getting in trouble and shit, like it just does benefit you a lot. Just, so So, I don't know, man. Again, depends on the area you're in too, but you know, I don't know, man. I just don't like, you know, I just don't want to do that shit right now as well. Like I said, you know, it's the same thing like with being gay, right? It's like, you know, I don't tell people in reality that I'm gay. You know, I don't really give, like, you know, they don't need to know that shit, you know? So, like, and nobody in real life fucking even knows, right? So, like, nobody out in reality knows or cares. So,
You have
problem is, of course, because that, like, I'm out in reality too, and because Turning Point is so fucking close, I have to be like really. The one thing that I just really don't like that I can't do anymore is just like, you know, hug my fucking partner out in like reality sometimes. That would be nice, you know, just where I'm like not in the fucking way, like just, you know, like being there, you know. I would like to, you know, kiss my significant other without like, you know, having to worry about some Nazi fuck, like, you know, coming around the corner, being a, like, you know, just out of nowhere. So, I don't know, man. So, just is one of those things, you know, just don't fucking care. But
Why wouldn't you be able to? Friends hug. The kisses are the issue in public, though.
yeah, well, not really, because the problem is when you get down to it, there's a lot of people that are like so insecure about their masculinity that they don't even want guys hugging, which is so fucking ridiculous. So, it's so dumb. But, oh well, like I said, I'm only a few miles away from fucking the stupid Turning Point, like, headquarters. Like, I'm not that far away from it, so I just don't trust that people are, like, not gonna be, you know, that way around me. Or that way, like, around here, you know? I don't trust it, so... I don't know. Like, lately, there's been a lot of people that have been, like, very sketchy around, like, the furry community, too.
Sounds like someone trying to force themselves to stay in the closet, or not accept themselves.
Yeah, well, like I said, well, yeah, definitely. Most definitely, for sure. But, you know, unfortunately, that doesn't matter when they fucking have, like, you know, when a lot of these people have fucking, like, guns and shit, you know? Doesn't matter when these people are unstable motherfuckers. I just don't mind their own fucking business. So. It's fine. Not really worried about it. So. There's a lot, you know, there's a lot of other problems happening right now, so it's like, you know, it's like if this is on the back burner, who cares right now? Well, I mean...
They should get a backpack, and fuck right off.
Yep. I completely agree, dude. Yeah, Bernie, I completely agree. You know? But a lot of these fuckers just don't care. You know? It's always the guys that, like, I'm not joking you, dude. Like, I went to, like, a fucking downtown Tempe area, and I saw a dude with a White Lives Matter, like, shirt on, and it was, like, just walking around, and I'm like, why is this in College Town? How is this in College Town? It was insane, dude. I could not fucking believe my eyes when I saw that shit, so... It was really bad. So... It's very clear that the youth is being, it's very clear the youth is being affected by this anti-woke, like, fucking Gamergate bullshit. And I'm just not a fan of it. It is very real. And I'm like, it's just starting to not go well. Like I said, someone...
Humanity disappoints me more every day. Anyway, tangent aside, can we resume the video?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Wants to be dating his cousin Mercedes. It's fine, bro. It's just a family tradition to keep things in the family. It's not weird at all. Now, Fernand has
Oh god.
no head for schemes
Read
and
the
is in
incest
fact
already?
profoundly unsubtle in pretty much everything he does. Everyone knows he's obsessed with Mercedes and would 1000% murder Edmund about it if Mercedes hadn't proactively headed that idea off at the pass by telling Fernand that if Edmund dies for any reason, she's killing herself ASAP. So when Danglars pitches a scheme that involves keeping Edmund alive and unmurdered, but still removing him
Sorry, one sec. Oops. That's right here.
from the dating pool, Fernand is absolutely on board. So Danglars drafts up a letter accusing Edmund of being Napoleon's #1 fan and sends Fernand to deliver it to the authorities. So that's 2 conspirators accounted for, but there's one other name we need to drop before we round out the trio. Witnessing this conspiracy, but not directly participating in it, is this dude, Gaspard Caderousse, who's Edmund's neighbor and just kinda hates him for being too nice. And while he thinks this forever prison idea is a bit much, he's not about to be the one to say anything about it, so he keeps his mouth shut as Edmund is arrested right out of his own wedding party and dragged off to the Marseille Crown Prosecutor to address this accusation. Now, fortunately for Edmund, the evidence implicating him is paper thin, and the judge is extremely sympathetic to this poor kid who just got cop kidnapped out of his own wedding feast on a clearly false accusation. Unfortunately for Edmund, the prosecutor he's dealing with is Gerard de Villefort, the son of the Bonapartist Noirtier Villefort, whose intended letter Edmund is still lugging around unopened. Judge Villefort knows if anyone finds out his father is a Bonapartist, his own career prospects would be torpedoed right when he's on track to get his own good life and happy marriage underway. And hey, he's the only one who's seen the letter, and Edmund's the only other guy who might know what's in it. Villefort burns the letter and tells Edmund it's fine and cool, he just needs to stay in custody for a little longer while Villefort talks to his superiors and gets this all cleared up. Then he sends Edmund straight to the Chateau d'If and throws away the key. Edmund is shocked to learn he's been sentenced to life in prison with no trial when the last he'd heard was that the judge knew he was innocent and was going to help him. This puts Villefort very high on the shit list once Edmund finally learns about the conspiracy that screwed him over and stole 2 decades of his life. So our 3 major antagonists are Fernand, Danglars, and Villefort. These are the 3 guys who willfully and intentionally destroyed Edmund's life for their own personal advancement and gain. But Edmund doesn't know that yet because he's just been yeeted into life in turbo prison and nobody will tell him anything. So that's how Edmund spends a very relaxing several years until his solitude is interrupted by the Abbé Faria, a priest, scholar, and wise old mentor who accidentally tunnels into Edmund's cell and immediately gets imprinted on by Edmund like a baby bird. When Edmund explains his extremely confusing imprisonment to the Abbé, he puts together that it sounds like Edmund's not just the victim of bureaucratic nonsense and bad luck, but a full-blown conspiracy to profit off his misery. The Abbé singles out the people who benefited most from Edmund's disappearance, and now with a focus for his fury, Edmund spends the next 8 years learning everything he can from Abbé Faria. And when the old man passes away, he leaves Edmund with 2 parting gifts. 1, the knowledge of a secret treasure trove of unimaginable wealth on the island of Monte Cristo, and 2, an escape plan that the Abbé cooked up but could never have accomplished himself at his advanced age. Edmund secretly takes his place in the body bag, narrowly escapes dying horribly in the ocean, gets picked up by a passing crew of smugglers, and sets about finding that treasure on Monte Cristo. At this point, all Edmund has are his very well-founded suspicions about Danglars, Fernand, and
Oh yeah, sorry. I also figured out that apparently my doctor also figured out what I actually have. So there's actually, it's not entirely, so it's not cystic fibrosis. It's called non-cystic fibrosis bronchiectasis, which is like a very, which is similar, but it's actually a completely different thing. Sorry, I just had to I had to bring that up because while I was clearing my lungs, I was like, oh man. Yeah, I just had a, hold on, one sec. Let me see if I can find it.
Bronchiectasis.
Yeah, bronchiectasis is, I guess, how you pronounce it. It's kind of fucking insane, but yeah, there's a whole fucking, there's a whole treatment for it, and it's kind of nuts, dude. It's similar to cystic fibrosis, but it's extremely, it's very different. Rather than just missing something, I'm there is something that is it is true, it's clogging something, but yeah, it's apparently still really dangerous not to be medicated on it or medicated on something. So oops. Yeah, so yeah, apparently there's a very specialty medicine that I'm supposed to be having that apparently is something I was supposed to be taking for years, but it didn't end up becoming a thing until 2018. So wow.
Villefort, and the first thing he needs is information. Fortunately, after he slaps on some Groucho glasses and his first of many false identities as the Abbé Busoni, he finds his old neighbor Caderousse is extremely willing to dish about the conspiracy he did nothing to stop if it means he'll get a bigger cut of Edmond Dante's last will and testament to the tune of one extremely shiny diamond. And Edmond
Imagine how excited you are knowing what's wrong. Oh yeah, dude, honestly. I'm glad I know what's wrong now, but like, you know, I had what my mother had. I just never realized that, like I said, the medicine didn't start existing until like 2018. So it's like very interesting that, you know, it's just very interesting. Like I said, I just had no idea that it even existed. But yeah, there's like, what do you call it? But it's very interesting that there's like a medicine for it because, you know, it is similar to cystic fibrosis though. It is like it's just different. It's just not as severe, I guess.
Gets the down
And it is a mutation, so I was right. Well, I wasn't right, but they were right. You know, they were right. It was a mutation, which is very interesting. So.
low and the where are they now on his old crew. First off, the good stuff. Edmund's father starved to death while Edmund was too in jail to provide for him, and after a year and a half, Edmund's fiancée Mercedes was finally bullied into marrying Fernand because she liked that option slightly better than dying alone. Fernand, Danglars, and Villefort are all doing extremely well financially and socially, with land, titles, and fortunes to their names, and Fernand and Mercedes now bear the titles Count and Countess de Morcerf, and have even had a son named Albert. Also, to really rub it in, Edmund's old boss Morel, who tried everything to get Edmund released from forever prison but was stonewalled by Villefort, is not doing good, since his ships keep getting shipwrecked and he's losing money hand over fist replacing them and their lost cargo. If this last voyage of Dante's old ship fails to deliver its cargo, Morel and his lovely family will be ruined. So now Edmund has one family's fortune to...
Yeah, you know, obviously very cheesy story like normal, but, you know, this is kind of the part where people probably fall
So we're
off
both
on the
mutants.
story.
My pancreatitis is caused by several mutations.
Yeah, yeah, you know, it doesn't really, you know, what do you call it, yeah, so the funniest thing is, I was still right about my life expectancy, though. It is kind of still similar, so, it's like, even if I am treated severely, it depends on the severity of my condition, and, I can still die at a pretty young age, so, you know. But it is interesting that there's treatment for it now. I mean, it's kind of nice to know now that there's just straight up treatment for my stuff, you know. And that's all thanks to people that actually, you know, like, you know, obviously have donated to the labs and shit, because like all the charities that are like the charity that donates to these what do I call it, how do you say it? The like a lot of the charities that donate to the frickin'
I honestly don't think I'm going to live past 30.
I don't think I am either, let's be frank. But let's be honest, I don't think I'll for now we have to take it year by year, because we don't even know who's gonna live past what by this point. So, you know, we don't know who's gonna live past what by this point, because everything is really fucking scary at the moment. So. Let me see if I can find... Let's see. Let's see here. Cystic Fibrosis Research Institute, yeah. That's the one that's just like straight up like that's the one that's trying to find a cure though, rather than better treatments, which is kind of unfortunate because I would kind of like for them to find like really good treatments, because we know what happens when cures are found. So yeah, the Cystic Fibrosis Research Institute is like a perfect, what do I call it, is the perfect place. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, this one. Yeah. Pretty good charity. Pretty decent charity. This is the one that found, what do you call it, that was able to create like a, what do you call it? They were able to create, they're the reason why the, how do I say it? They're the reason why, like, that medicine even exists in the first place, or why like a lot of these medicines exist in the first place, which is kind of fucking wild to hear. So, you know. So this does affect people's lives, just so, you know, this does affect my own life too, so it's like, you know, like I said, it will help. You know, every little bit helps, so not saying that you should donate, I'm just saying, you know. Monetary donations, yeah. Guess you could do that too. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's interesting. Skydiving with purpose, grief, and fearlessness. Hell yeah. God, I really wish I could still drink coffee. Anyway. Let's see. Cystic fibrosis is a rare genetic chronic progressive disease that affects over 40,000 people. Really? That's small, huh? Wow. I forgot how rare this disease is, though. It's quite rare, but hey. Yeah. Anyway. Anywho. Ooh, hang on. Wow, look at that person. Wow. Look at this person. Fuck, why is this person's... Wait. This is a child? Hold on. I think it's a child, I just didn't notice it was a child. I think that's a kid. Or a teenager? They just have very little teeth. I know that their smile is like... I know their smile is, like, you know, obviously, you know, like, you know, covering some of it, but it's like very little teeth shown. Anyway. Yeah. It's the fucking dab. I'm sorry. It's really fucking funny. Anyway. Wow, look at this man. Ain't he handsome? Look at this lady. Ain't she handsome? 39th National CF
Chronic pancreatitis in
Education.
children and young adults is so rare that every single person with it at my age and younger can attend the same summer camp if we're going by numbers alone.
Damn. That's crazy. It's that rare. Fuck, man. That's unfortunate. Sorry to hear that. Sucker, only if you had cystic fibrosis.
There's only a couple hundred of us.
Only if you had a cure. No, I'm joking. Sorry, that's really mean. Only if you had a treatment. Sucker. No, I'm joking. Anyway, imagine only living till I could live till I'm 40. No, I'm joking. Anyway. Anyway, I don't think anybody wants to live past 30 in this world anyway, so... It's not like I'm fucking wanting to live that long anyway. Anyway.
Save, and 3 to destroy. Saving the Morels turns out to be pretty easy when you have $1 bazillion. Edmund secretly buys up and forgives all their debts, and, just to show off, builds a whole-ass replacement for the sunken ship. Morel's fortunes and family
Yeah.
they are saved by their mysterious and unknown benefactor, and Edmund pats
I was very thrown off by this. I like when this part of the story actually happened, because like I genuinely like I had to go back a few pages because like I had to go back like a lot of pages like back to a previous chapter, like not chapter but like a bunch of like different pages and I'd be like is that like was he like rich? Did they ever just kind of fucking did they ever like ever clarify that? And I guess they did. I just never noticed it. In the original story, it was kind of fucking like it threw me off for a loop like at the time. Like I do remember that because like it was like I just didn't realize that you could just like that story would be resolved so fast. So, yeah. Or that part of it would just be resolved so fast. So. Oh, damn, you missed the fucking most essential part. Oh, no, mind. Sorry, I thought that was Zen. My bad. Sorry. Wow, I never have gotten that. I did not realize I was gonna get angry at that. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to show my anger like that. Hi, Neon. How was work? How was errands? How's it? Or sorry, welcome back, I guess I should say.
Pats himself on the back for a job well done and a good man well rewarded. And now that that's out of the way, it's time to get to the fun part. Hard cut to a new guy. This is Baron Franz d'Epinay, and he is in a completely different show than everyone else. We're solidly in his POV for a good 7 chapters, and then he basically falls out of the plot. It feels like Dumas wanted a POV character to witness the Count's various...
That was also really fucking annoying. I will say this. In the abridged chapter, what do you call it? In the abridged chapter, it is only, luckily, it's only 1 chapter. But in the fucking, I can't imagine what it would have been like if I read the actual, like, the long version of it. Because, like, that shit was fucking annoying. Like, it felt like that was such a fucking waste of time, and I'm really annoyed that what do you call it? I'm really annoyed that the writer kept that in, even in the abridged copy. So, because it did not come up, like, nearly ever. So, anyway.
Schemes and provide some helpful linearity to an otherwise extremely convoluted series of events, but he quickly realized that POV character with the top-down view of the story would be at serious risk of figuring everything out way too early, so Dumas just eventually switched to a third-person limited narrative voice and called it a day. But until we make that switch, we're riding along in Franz's back pocket as he prepares for the upcoming Carnival in Rome, where he'll be joined by his good friend Albert de Morcerf on his first ever visit to Italy. But since Albert won't arrive for another few days, Franz decides to fill that time with a little casual hunting, and he's told he'll find the best game on an island nobody else thinks to visit. Of course, the uninhabited island of Monte.
Okay, that is also one thing I should have actually also mentioned, is the fact that, like, the one thing that is always sometimes, like, that I do appreciate that modern books at least do now, is they don't just switch a lot of times from first person to third person to third person to first person to third person, like, very often, like, just randomly, like how much this book used to do it all the time. Like, old literature fucking loved doing that shit so often. And and it already is confusing with the old language, like, you know, that they would use back then. So, like, it was also a lot harder to fucking, like, it was also a lot harder to just end up, like, how you say it, like, reading, like, you know, where we were at sometimes, and you had to reread certain chapters, like, over and over again, just to make sure that you, like, you know, you got the context. Like, I'm really glad that modern books don't do this as much, and if they do, like, it is just, it's a lot, like, smoother, you know. I will say this, it is much smoother when that shit happens now, so, like, you know, especially, like, you know, even in animation, I'm glad that that's also a thing too, so.
Cristo, a known smuggler haven. When they rock up on the island, surprise, there's smugglers there. But turns out they're chill, and in fact, when Franz offers to share his dinner with them, their chief is impressed and decides to invite him in for a proper feast.
I honestly think about this too as well. You ever think that, like, sorry, I know that has nothing to do with the book, but, like, you ever wonder if, how do you say it, you ever wonder, like, if, like, certain writers of, like, a lot of TV shows and movies, if they would ever, like, you know, you ever think that they would have been successful book writers at one point? If they actually, like, you know, if TV shows and movies didn't become, like, you know, like, the forefront of everything? If, like, social media didn't become, like, so, like, you know, at the forefront, and people just, like, actually, like, if people actually just, like, read again? I don't know, just something to think about. Anyway.
With permission, Franz is blindfolded and led into a secret cavern slathered in a truly unbelievable level of overwhelming luxury. Here to greet him is the bandit chief himself, a very handsome but extremely unnaturally pale gentleman who introduces himself with the obvious pseudonym of Sinbad the Sailor. Sinbad claims that he's just your average, ludicrously wealthy globetrotter with a passion for Orientalism, a cadre of loyal slaves, and a love for the finer things in life. But Franz is making those insight checks left and right and suggests that Sinbad actually strikes him as a deeply wounded person driven by some kind of furnace of unfathomable vengeful rage. Sinbad responds with, "What? Nuh-uh," and offers him drugs. And one
I forgot about this part.
extremely good hashish trip later, Franz wakes up in a normal cave all alone and heads back to the mainland with a whole lot of questions and nowhere to ask them.
Yeah, like everybody. What do I call it? like during this part, I remember making a joke to myself. Like nobody was around me. I remember making a joke to myself, being like me at like it's like I don't know. I'm like, man, a lot of people must have experienced this. Like, you know, must have experienced this a lot. Like, you know, I know quite a few people that have experienced this whole trip before. I don't know. I just like making I just made like fucking drug jokes. I was doing this a lot. Like I said, like the fucking, like I said, literally like Mercedes, like, you know, I don't know what the fuck is up with my ADHD brain sometimes, but like there's just moments where I just have these aha hilarious funny moments where like it's supposed to be more seriously taken, but like, you know, it's a writer from the 1800s. I feel like I can be a little goofy with it sometimes. Keep in mind, I'm still like you know, remembering Mercedes as a fucking car. So like so just even in just moments where like they don't, but like where a car literally would not belong, just imagine that at the moments where Mercedes is just around, where like there's just random spaces, even places that like where a car wouldn't even fit. Anyway.
Franz is kind of a perfect POV character. He loves noticing things and then not telling anybody about them. But he's about to be very distracted because Albert is here and he's mostly worried that his Parisian fashions are out of date and how none of these Italian ladies want to date him. Franz tries to play tour guide and show him around Rome, but he finds their options are very weirdly limited. It seems like some unidentified extremely rich guy has bought up nearly every room in their hotel, and for some weird reason, all the horses and carriages have also been hired out already. So the lads are at risk of spending Carnival on foot like peasants. This is of course ridiculous, since rich people aren't supposed to be priced out of things, but apparently the only thing that can stop a rich asshole is an even richer asshole. The boys are also warned to stay within the city walls at night, because the Roman countryside is the territory of the terrifying bandit Luigi Vampa and his band of brigands, who...
Okay, I'm starting to remember why people probably don't like this book as much anymore. Like, or people that don't really, like, you know, genuinely like it, and I'm assuming it's probably because of this part. I completely forgot about this part. Well, no, I didn't forget about this part. I thought, like, it's very funny, the fact that they also make fun of, like, a Robin Hood-esque character, you know? Like, they make him the bad guy in this.
Despite their honor code and diverse hiring policies, are still considered extremely bad news. But despite these setbacks, Franz manages to get them both to the Colosseum so he can show Albert some good old-fashioned ruins by the beautiful light of the moon. While Albert marvels at the marble, Franz indulges in one of his POV character hobbies and finds an extremely dark, quiet spot where he can tuck himself up into a corner and accidentally witness an incredibly important conversation. While he's just vibing, two mysterious figures appear for a covert meeting
This was also pretty ahead of its time, I think, as well.
to discuss how they're going to save a prisoner from execution in a few days' time. The man concerned for the prisoner's safety is the aforementioned famed bandit Luigi Vampa, while the other man claims he can save the prisoner with just a little judiciously placed money, of which he seems to have quite a lot. They arrange some signals for the rescue mission and part ways, leaving Franz to contemplate what to do with the information that...
God, I wonder who they were. Mysterious. Definitely not obvious.
The rich guy conspiring with famed bandit Luigi Vampa was very definitely Sinbad the Sailor. Franz, of course, decides to keep all this to himself and spends the next day pondering it while Albert enjoys Rome. They go to the opera that night, and surprise, surprise,
I love the way they drew that. They drew that scene.
Sinbad the Sailor. Franz, of course, decides to keep all this to himself and spends the next day pondering it while Albert...
That is a fantastic way of drawing that scene, by the way. I like that is just fantastic. God damn. Oh man. I wish I pictured this.
Enjoys Rome. They go to the opera that night, and surprise, surprise, Sinbad the Sailor is also there, wearing a whole new outfit and accompanied by a beautiful Greek girl that Franz has never seen before. She's a surprise tool that'll help us later. The countess they're talking to has no idea who that mysterious gentleman is, but she has a strong theory that he's a straight-up vampire.
Yeah.
Just like the ones Byron is always going on about. God, I wish she was right about that. I want that fanfic on my desk by Monday. Anyway, it's getting close to the Carnival, and they still can't find a carriage. But the good news is, the guy who bought up their entire hotel floor has heard about their difficulties and can't stand to see two young rich people in distress, so he's heroically offering to lend them one of his carriages and his other Carnival accommodations. Our protagonists are, of course, never too wealthy to accept a handout, and agree to this generous offer and go to meet their benefactor, who is none other than the handsome, extremely pale real Count of Monte Cristo, who Franz immediately clocks as Sinbad the Sailor again. But, like a good POV character, he doesn't say shit, and the Count very politely introduces himself, acts like he doesn't recognize Franz, and does the super normal conversational opener of talking about how he really thinks capital punishment should be worse. He's just got very strong opinions about torture and how awesome it is to do to people who deserve it. Super normal icebreakers. After witnessing the miraculous last-minute pardon of the guy he secretly promised Luigi Vampa
They also kind of forget, like, how casual they make this as well.
he would save, plus the extremely brutal execution of the guy he didn't, it's time for the carnival! Everyone's in costume, everyone's being ridiculous, and some hot lady keeps flirting with Albert, which he's very enthusiastic about. In fact, he's too enthusiastic about it because it makes him extremely kidnappable. And barely a few hours after the carnival wraps up, Franz receives a ransom note for Albert from none other than Luigi Vampa, demanding just a little more money than Franz and Albert collectively have. It's a good thing they happen to have just become friends with an extremely wealthy gentleman with nothing but cash to burn. Franz, of course, drops in on the Count for help, but when the Count offers him any
I forget how many, like, convenient plot points there really just was in this. And, like, I know that this one didn't work out, but, like, it is very funny that I didn't even think about the fact that I'm like, yeah, there's just so many things that just conveniently, like, fall into place for these guys, huh? I know that that's just, like, that's how, like, you know, books are written back then, but oh my god, Jesus Christ, I'm like, there's really so many, like, plot holes that could just be punched through with this. And I know that, like, yes, it's a fictional story, obviously it's fiction, who cares, let it go, right? But Jesus Christ, man, wow. Like, I am starting to remember why people just really don't like this book. And why people really hate me for liking this book so much.
amount of cold hard cash to pay that ransom with, Franz drops the mask just a smidge and says the Count could definitely resolve this with no ransom, since doesn't Luigi Vampa owe him for saving the life of his friend? The Count takes this in stride pretty admirably and offers to go talk to Luigi Vampa personally, and he and Franz head out together so he can tell the bandit crew that he definitely didn't ask to kidnap Albert if they'll kindly consider letting Albert go. Luigi Vampa of course acquiesces, almost like he works for the Count or something, and Albert is free to go and completely over the moon at how his new best friend totally saved his life out of the goodness of his heart. He assures the Count that his family will be incredibly grateful, and when he finally comes to Paris, they'll give him the best welcome he could hope for.
Yeah, this won't, like, you know, this isn't some obvious plot, this isn't some obvious twist.
One could almost say it's all according to plan. Franz
Yeah, I really just should let the video play sometimes. I am kind of spoiling it before it starts, or before, like, it happens. I'm, like, just trying to give some commentary, but it is really hard when it's, like, something that you've read before, so, and this person's doing a good job, like, you know, breaking it down.
meanwhile, having come dangerously close to cracking this thing wide open, elects to stay in Italy for a while so the machinations can get a little more momentum going without someone constantly seeing through them every couple days. So with the stage set and no one to stand in his way, it's time for the Count of Monte Cristo to make his Paris debut. So let's pull back the camera a little bit. The book parcels out information very slowly, which is part of what makes it so effective. But that's no good for a summary, so we're gonna need to demystify things a little bit to cover what the hell is going on in Paris and how the board is arranged when the Count finally arrives. Fernand, now the Count de Morcerf, is doing very well for himself, as is his wife Mercedes and their son Albert. Fernand had a very illustrious military career he's since retired from, where his major windfall came from some big payout in the aftermath of the death of Ali Pasha, who he was serving at the time. Fernand now mostly does politics, and Mercedes mostly does nothing, while their son Albert is one of the idle rich and doesn't have a lot going on beyond his reluctant engagement to one Eugenie Danglars, the profoundly uninterested daughter of our old friend Baron Danglars, who's become a banker who lives and dies on loans. Rather than having tangible wealth, his fortune is built on credit with banks and lenders all around Europe, which means his wealth is entirely dependent on his reputation. Meanwhile, his wife Madame Danglars likes to play the stock market, and she
Sounds very this sounds way too fucking familiar.
He especially likes to do it with the help of her lover, whose high government position tips him off to major stock-affecting news events a full day before the rest of France hears about them, allowing him and Madame Danglars to do a little bit of casual insider trading to turn a tidy profit that Baron Danglars happily benefits from while pretending not to notice.
I'm telling you this already, there's so many people that have also covered, like, so there's a lot of people that have covered, like, a lot of like news events like recently, like especially with a lot of like rich people, and people reference this book so commonly to the modern, like this part so commonly to the modern world. The fucking problem is there's so many people that like that really didn't care for the Monte Cristo and never finished it, or there's a lot of people that like don't even know what the Monte Cristo is.
You know
And,
why I
like,
decided to send this now.
Yeah, this is why, like, yeah, I know why you decide, like, I had a feel, like, what do you call it? I know what this part, like, I knew this part was coming up, and I was going to give some commentary on it, but yes, like, I didn't know exactly if this was the reason why you sent me this, but yes, this is literally, like, I have referenced this to so many fucking people, and they have no fucking idea what I am talking about, and it is annoying. Like, I mean, sorry, that's a lie. There's a lot of people that I have. All the intelligent people know what I'm talking about, but those are the people that know what the fuck is going on. The fucking problem is, you try, like, I fucking dare you to try to get any fucking manga person to read the Monte Cristo. And I fucking dare you to, like, to try to get them to, like, to understand this. Because I tried explaining this shit, to some, like, to, like, some fucking Nazi manga fuck for, like, hours on end. And they were just too fucking stupid to understand the fact that, like, that this book, like, was clearly trying to, like, is clearly, like, something that is happening in reality, and how much we were warned about this! Or, like, warned about this kind of behavior! Sorry. God. This is why people like Asmongarbage should not be a streamer, because they don't, like, because clearly that, like, when like shit would, this was like told to someone like Asmongarbage. This part of the story was literally told to somebody like Asmongarbage, and guess what? Asmongarbage has not read the Monte Cristo before. Nuxtaku has not read the Monte Cristo before. Tectone never read the Monte Cristo before. All the, like, it's so fucking funny because all the people that are, like, so politically aligned, they've never read classic literature, yet they talk about, like, how much, like, yet they fucking, like, are on the anti-woke crowd. If they were anti-woke, then they would have read this shit. This is my fucking problem. They don't even understand literature. But they complain, but they act like they tell everybody fucking retarded, but they've never fucking read this book before.
In my opinion, you shouldn't have a platform if you're illiterate. Exactly!
God, dude, it's so ironic because, like, I'm really glad that you sent this, because this makes me, like, this is what pisses me off, is because these guys, like literally talk about, like, classic literature all the time, but they've never read the Monte Cristo. It's like, this is a fucking, like, it's a sin to not read this book because of this fucking scene and many other things that happen in the book. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna calm down. Just, like, I just really had to, because it's like, it's like, now you, like, it's so fucking funny because, like, all this knowledge, like, all the knowledge that I have, like, that I have in my fucking brain, right? Like, that I've had in my brain for years, this is why I get frustrated. It's like, people don't realize that reading literally makes you more intelligent. It just makes you, like, predict things before they happen. And it's like, or just, like, understand what is happening and how to dismantle it later, right? Or, like, how to fucking, like, or when something happens, you have, like, a point of reference so you can predict something that can happen in the future, right? Like, it just, or, like, something simple, like, you can put it to a villain or a character arc, or, like, something that could happen in an event that could become real. God, dude. I'm really glad I get to talk to you about this end, because, yeah, this part, like, yeah, I'm sorry. I have a lot to say about this. I know I haven't said much throughout the whole book, but I was literally waiting to rant about this, because, like, I would fucking love any fucker that is like on fucking the Gamergate fucking grift bullshit side of social media. I would love to ask them if they've ever read this book before, because I guarantee all of them will say no. Like, this is such an important piece of literature, but, like, people just don't, like I
sent
said,
the video for a reason. It was specifically for this part.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't like this book, but like this is the part that you should really like, that people should look into, man. Just more and more people should really like read this book, man, but they just don't. It's like people just don't fucking like, you know, I get it. Classic literature is really fucking annoying, especially for how long this book normally is. I read the abridged version, so again, I get it, but this part was in there. It's like, I don't know, man. It says a lot about humanity that people are just like this fucking dumb, where they just don't, like, for even the people, like, for that people just like, this is why reading is so important, because of this part, because of stuff like this, because stuff like this is in like, stuff like this, there are so many important things in books that like teach people important shit, and like it's very clear that that's the reason why they're trying to get rid of books, like in fucking, this is the reason why they're trying to get rid of books, like why they're trying to like remove books from libraries, because they know these books are like very important. I think the Monte Cristo was removed from one of our libraries at 1.2 before. I remember that. I don't remember exactly if that was true or not, but I remember like years ago this was a controversy, like, and people just did not fucking care, and that really frustrated me for years. And now it's like, now it's just biting people in the ass.
Their daughter Eugenie, meanwhile, isn't jazzed about this wedding because she doesn't want to give up her freedom to marry anyone, and wants to become an indie artist and travel the world with her girl best friend Louise, preferably while sharing a bed.
Like, I don't know, it's
Very
like,
subtle,
just,
Dumas. And in his own corner, unconnected from the other two conspirators, Villefort continues his career as judge, making enemies left and right with his ruthless and hypocritical dedication to punishing wrongdoers as long as they aren't him. While
sounds familiar, huh? God. Fuck, dude. God, man.
Villefort has more skeletons in his closet that we'll learn about later on. His main attached drama is some slightly convoluted inheritance shenanigans that largely have nothing to do with him at all. His daughter, Valentine,
Sounds
stands to
familiar.
inherit a metric butt-ton of money when her maternal grandparents die, and whoever she marries will get access to that same pot, while none of that money transfers over to Villefort's second wife, Madame de Villefort, and her son, Edward, which the Madame clearly finds very distressing, because if there's one thing that rich people hate, it's not being as rich as they could imagine being. If only there was some way for Valentine's inheritance to creep its way back up the family tree before she marries, so it'd pass over to Villefort's new wife and heir instead. This is the board as it's arranged when the Count comes knocking on Albert's front door for his first breakfast in Paris and an introduction to Albert's grateful family. His first meeting with Fernand de Morcerf is short and simple. Fernand doesn't recognize him at all, and, despite the wealth and opulence he's built for himself, seems generally dissatisfied about his life, which the Count keeps a very careful poker face about. Mercedes, however, is completely stunned to see him, though of course she explains that it's natural she'd need a minute after meeting the man who saved her son from those bandits. The Count very quickly leaves, and Mercedes privately asks Albert a ton of very specific follow-up questions about the Count. But whatever's going through her head, we'll have to wait to find out, because the Count's got a lot more to do. First, he swings by Baron Danglars to open his line of credit, which, because the Count has more money than God, is an unlimited line of credit. And Danglars pretends not to shit himself and insists that this is totally fine, and he'll absolutely be able to get the Count as much cash as he needs whenever he needs, and this definitely won't be a problem. The funny thing about Danglars is that
Okay, yeah, I could definitely see how, like, okay, again, okay, we're finally reeling it, I'm finally reeling it back again, like, this, yeah, this is why I'm starting to, like, again, this is why I remember, like, why people, again, I'm remembering a lot of things, and this is why people, like, also just, like, don't like it, is, again, just, there's so many predictable plot points, like, in it, and I get it, but, you know.
his part in the vengeance scheme is mostly just passively happening in the background while everyone else has to suffer through the juicy stuff, because
I'm not, like I said, I'm not complaining about the people that have read this and, like, still don't like the Monte Cristo. I get it. I am very much, like, I'm not the minority in this, but, like, a lot of people I've talked to, like, friends of mine, don't like the Monte Cristo, right? They don't like it. But, like, I'm not complaining about the people that have read, like, that read, right? I'm complaining about the people that just don't read anything and, you know, haven't even gotten to the level where they've read something like this because it is so fucking important. Sorry. Anyway. Sorry. I'll stop.
Glar is so basic that all the Count needs to do is ensure he's constantly facing inexplicable financial mishaps and tumbling towards bankruptcy, and we don't need to follow along that
God, sounds familiar, huh?
closely because we can just assume that's always happening. The Count quickly gets himself settled in Paris, buying a number of very specific houses in very specific locations for currently unclear reasons. Since he doesn't have a social in with Villefort like he does with the Morcerfs and the Danglars, he needs to arrange one, and that turns out to be very simple. He does something chemically complex to Madame de Villefort's carriage horses so they go inexplicably mad and charge right past the Count's new house, where his faithful servant Ali, who's been warned by the Count exactly when and how this would happen, manages to lasso and
You don't
halt
need to
the
apologize.
horses,
I chose to
saving
send this to
Madame
our
de
discussion.
Villefort and her son from a potentially very messy fate. Simplicity.
Wait, hold on.
Full servant Ali, who's been warned by the Count exactly when and how this would happen, manages to lasso and halt the horses, saving Madame de Villefort and her son from a potentially very messy fate. Simplicity itself. But
Yeah, they also just kind of don't explain how they did it as well. It just kind of happens as well. Like, it is very interesting that this does happen because, like, I was very confused when I also read this part too, because, like, the way that they stopped it, they just kind of never really, like, I don't know, like, again, more Looney Tunes shenanigans, I guess. But yeah, this was another thing where just, like, shit happens because it can, because of convenience. But Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, this was definitely, again, very cartoonish, but again, like, I still kept going because I like absurdity like that.
since her son
I can fill in the gaps, so.
has fainted from the ordeal, the Count invites them both in and opens up his extremely impressive medicine kit to find something that can revive the boy, warning
Oh yeah, that too. That one was fucking, this part is fucking, yeah, this part is fucking
everyone
insane.
present that medicine must be handled very carefully. After all, we wouldn't want to poison anyone. And it would be so easy to poison someone with any of these potent concoctions. Madame de Villefort is something of a chemist herself, and she's very interested in the Count's extremely in-depth understanding of medicine, more specifically, the part about the poison. And the Count is always eager to share fun intellectual exercises about how one could potentially use poison, especially without getting caught. After indulging her
Okay, yeah, I could see why, again, this was, like, you know, a lot of this stuff was really predictable. God damn it, dude. I'm like, I promise it's a good read. Shut up. God damn it. This person is really like, I'm not going to lie, like, when I read the book, like, I swear to God, I was like, it did not feel this dumb when when I read it, but I do realize, like, God, it is really fucking absurd. Like, I love absurdity, and like I said, but goddamn, I really, like, I am starting to realize why, like, people might be.
I agree. It is a good read.
Yeah, it is a good read. I'm just saying, it's just it's like obscenely absurd, and the way she's like phrasing, like when you get somebody explaining it, like explaining how the book like goes from like beginning to end, you do realize like how much you just like, I don't know. It's like when you like listen to somebody that has like a movie review of something, when you listen to like a movie reviewer, when you've watched a movie before and you thought like, you know, there were certain things that were a little iffy, but like, you know, it seemed okay. But then the movie reviewer is like, oh yeah, well here's this problem, that problem, this problem, that problem, this problem. And it's like, and then you're like, holy fuck, I caught like none of those. And I'm kind of glad that I did, because holy shit, there was like no effort put in, right? And it goes from like mediocre to like awful, right? Or it goes from like, not awful, it goes from like, you know, strange to like mediocre and awful, right? And it's like the same thing with, like, it's not the same thing with this book, but this book clearly like is extremely predictable. Like very predictable. Even for the time that, like, even, not for the time, sorry, even for like, you know, like even for the time that I was young, I can see how this like, I can see like why people just again do not have this. Like, this is not a fun read for a lot of people. I am starting to realize this, and like maybe my hard ass defense of this book was probably a little too much. You know, I don't know. I've kind of, you know, like, you know, like I said, I understand that this is like an old school book. But man, dude, there was some things that I really did not realize how absurd this book was. I completely did not realize like how bad it was until I'm just being like told it in front of my face.
many specific follow-up questions, and ensuring that the Villeforts also owe the Count an incredible amount of social capital, what with the saving their son thing, he scoots on over to one of the other houses he just bought with a servant named Bertuccio that he very pointedly rescued from prison several years ago, because it turns out Bertuccio has a lot of extremely convenient information he can use about none other than Gerard de Villefort, and it all started in this very house he had him buy. The story is, unsurprisingly, very long, but to make it short, over 2 decades ago, Bertuccio secretly witnessed Villefort carrying on an affair with some currently unknown woman in this very house, and the affair led to a child. But the baby was theoretically stillborn, and while Villefort was burying him in the backyard, Bertuccio, who had been cultivating his own protracted vengeance scheme after Villefort was a huge dick to him about his murdered brother, leaps out and stabs him, digs up the baby, and manages to revive it. Bertuccio and his widowed sister-in-law name the child Benedetto and raise him together. However, Benedetto turns out to be a real bastard in every meaning of the word, and while Bertuccio is briefly in prison, Benedetto kills his foster mother in a failed attempt to torture her for money. So there are now 2 other big pieces on the board: Villefort's secret bastard criminal son Benedetto, and Madame de Villefort's growing fascination with the wonderful world of poison. One more player enters the field as the Count gets
Holy shit, yeah, this really is just like, okay, wow, alright, man, this is really absurd, isn't it? Okay, yeah, when you kind of put that together, when you kind of like put 2 and 2 together, you kind of do recognize that this is just kind of a little bonkers. God damn. Wow. Jesus Christ. I really just did not, man, I really gave this book a lot more credit than it was due, I guess. Man, I am really starting to go from man, I'm going from like, man, I fucking absolutely like, you know, adore this book to being like, man, I mean, it's still very, very important, but I am kind of glad that I'm being like criticized of how like stupid this book really was, or how like insane this book really was. I really should sometimes like just, you know, this was definitely not something I was gonna reread again, but you know. Yeah, anyway. Wow. Anyway.
all the paperwork in order and arranges for a loving reunion between one Major Cavalcanti and his long-lost son Andrea, a situation that greatly confuses the 2 Cavalcantis because they both know this is absolute bullshit, and Andrea Cavalcanti is no such person. But they're also being paid much too well to kick up a fuss about it, so Andrea Cavalcanti makes his Parisian society debut, and nobody has to know that his given name is actually Benedetto. And to round out the Count's collection
Oh yeah, that was also a really stupid thing, but also was like very predictable. Anyway.
of useful people with incriminating information about his enemies, we finally get to learn a little about the Count's young Greek companion, the beautiful Heidi. Namely, what we learn is that she's the daughter of Ali Pasha, the guy who Fernand supposedly made his fortune loyally and honorably serving, and the first time Heidi sees Fernand, she panics and nearly faints, which could mean nothing, and in the midst of all these secrets and lies, there's
I never caught that. I was... I never caught that when I read it. Wow. Okay. That makes far more sense now. Anyway.
There's one other crucial detail that the Count is actually unaware of. The Romeo and Juliet fanfiction playing out right under his nose. See, it turns out that Maximilien Morel, the eldest son of the Monsieur Morel that Edmond went to all that trouble to save, is secretly in love with Valentine Villefort, who's pretty thoroughly miserable in her gilded cage, with a father who neglects her, a stepmother who not so subtly deeply resents her for the money she stands to inherit, and an arranged marriage to none other than the highly observant Franz. The only person in her corner is her grandfather Noirtier, but his power to protect her...
Yeah, I know, it was foreshadowing, but I never caught that shit. It was kind of like, it was so weird. I never realized that's the reason why. Huh.
Is limited since a stroke has rendered him completely paralyzed. Is this forbidden love truly doomed? Or will they be able to find happiness together despite the adversity? Who cares? Let's see if the Count has killed anyone yet. The mind games begin immediately. The Count invites the Danglars, the Villeforts, and the Cavalcantis to his brand new house. You know, the one where Villefort carried on that secret affair and buried a baby alive. The Count mentions that when he bought the house, it's the darndest thing, but his servants actually dug up a baby skeleton, so this place is probably mondo haunted. This is mostly just a fuck with Villefort, since the Count has no interest in blowing that case wide open just yet, but It does have the added benefit of incidentally revealing to the audience that the woman Villefort was having the affair with was none other than Madame Danglars. As a secondary benefit, Danglars becomes convinced that Andrea Cavalcanti has a functionally infinite amount of generational wealth behind him, and would therefore be a very smart guy to get in good with in light of his own sudden streak of financial bad luck.
I do not remember, like, I do not remember how often they just... It's kind of crazy. I don't remember, like, how... I knew that they did this, like, super often. I just didn't realize, like, how much they did this. Like, I swear that this was a lot less frequent, like, in the book, but I think it's just because, like, when you're reading, it's, like, a lot more spaced out. And I read this over, like, several months. Like, you know, I read this over, like, several months. So it's, like, you know, it took me a long time to finish the, like, even the abridged version. I just didn't realize how often they did this.
But it's not all fun and games for Andrea, because after he leaves the party, he's recognized by Caderousse. Since the Count left him that really big diamond that one time, Caderousse has gone from a simple garden variety jerk to a thief and murderer, and wouldn't
I was about to be like, who? What?
you know it, he and Andrea, or rather Benedetto, used to run in the same criminal circles. Caderousse doesn't want anything more than some very
I do remember that.
minor
Yeah.
blackmailing right now, but he's got Benedetto on the hook because he can't afford to have his identity exposed in front of all his new fancy friends. Meanwhile, Villefort has been very spooked by the Count's mind games, most notably the whole baby skeleton thing, because Villefort knows the Count has to be lying, because he saw his attacker dig up the baby and then run. But how would the Count know to lie about that, and what could he possibly want? Villefort has made a career out of knowing his enemies, so he researches the shit out of the Count, which means the Count has to spend the day running around quick-changing into 3 different identities to back up all his stories about himself. But it works, and Villefort is
God damn. Yeah, really just fuck, man. Yeah, wow, that really was just a stupid plot point. That was just like a really stupid thing I also breezed over. God, I'm finding out so many things I was just like, you know, completely breezed over and was like, yeah, that makes sense. You know, the fact that this guy was changing into 3 different like costumes at the same time, or 3 different disguises at the same time. Oh god, man. Wow, this is like far more cartoonish than I remember. Holy shit, what the hell is wrong with me? God damn, why did I like think this was like so fucking... Why did I think like everything in this was like so clever? Jesus Christ, I thought this book was far more clever than I thought, but good lord. Wow. Wow, this book is so cartoonish. Jeez. Oh my god, okay. Well. Man. I gave this book like a 9. Like, I reviewed this book and gave it like a 9 or something. It was like really... It was like... I am like very shockingly like, you know, very ignorant to a lot of things, aren't I?
convinced that the Count is just a rich, eccentric weirdo who he's never met before and not any kind of threat. But the Count has to take a break from his machinations to attend a ball thrown by the Morcerfs, because
That may be, but
Mercedes
it sends a good
specifically asks him to attend,
Yeah.
and of course he can't say no to her. They share a very tense but strangely intimate conversation where he tells her
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, it's just so fucking cartoonish. Holy shit, dude. It's like, I really just was very, I was very forgiving with this book, I realize. That I should have been. I'm just saying, I was just more... I'm not saying that wasn't good, I'm just saying I was very forgiving of very goofy parts. So...
her that the girl he loved when he was young married someone else when he couldn't return home, and when she asks if he ever forgave that girl, he says that he did. This is why this book has lived rent-free in everyone's brain for nearly 200 years. But unfortunately, the day running around quick break from a station where he tells her that the ball thrown by the Morcerfs, because Mercedes specifically asks him to attend, and of course
Oh,
he can't
yeah.
say no to her. They share a very tense but strangely intimate conversation where he tells her that the girl he loved when he was young married someone else when he couldn't return home, and when she asks if he ever forgave that girl, he says that he did. This is why this book has lived rent-free in everyone's brain for nearly 200 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's rent-free in my head because of something completely fucking different. Yeah, just imagine that scene with the fucking car, by the way. Just imagine that scene, but it's just this like fucking... This scene I did not take seriously at all because I was imagining Mercedes as a literal fucking vehicle still, and it was really fucking funny. The scene was really
That would be
fucking...
hilarious.
This was so fucking goofy, dude. Holy shit, this shit was really fucking funny when I was reading it, man. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it really felt like I was like I created an SNL sketch for no fucking reason. It was hilarious, dude. Yeah, just imagine that like imagine all this like serious shit with just like with this car, like with just a blatant car, dude. God, it's like, and that basically meaning the fact that this guy just has like basically meaning that this guy was like really just like interested in a fucking car the entire time. Like you have to remember that basically I've turned a character just into a massive car lover. So yeah, just out of nowhere for no fucking reason. And it's really fucking funny, and I like the way that I just like interpreted it in my head.
But unfortunately, the festivities are somewhat interrupted because the news suddenly arrives for Villefort that his father-in-law, Valentine's maternal grandfather, has very suddenly died. His grieving widow comes to the Villefort estate and also seems to get very sick very quickly, even claiming to have seen a ghost sneaking into her room at night out of Madame de Villefort's room and tinkering with her drink. What a mystery this is! Anyway, her last wish is for Valentine to get married as soon as possible, which seems to
Okay, shut up, man. I thought it was okay. Come on, I fucking God, I'm being shit on so much, man. God damn it, fuck off. Shut up. I thought I was like so fucking invested in these and like in so many of these plot points and like when I'm being blatantly told, like how stupid all this shit is. I'm like, fucking God damn it, man. God, I feel so stupid now. I feel like a fucking moron. I feel like a moron for not figuring this shit out before and like being genuinely surprised by some of the quote-unquote surprise moments. Anyway.
Rapidly accelerate the rate at which she mysteriously dies for some reason. So now Valentine has inherited a really big pile of money, and she's absolutely miserable about it. And her father is determined to get her married to Franz as quickly as possible to fulfill her grandmother's dying wish, which for some reason has Madame de Villefort very upset. Villefort is also privately told by the family doctor that it's really obvious someone in his family is poisoning people. But Villefort freaks out and demands they keep this secret because it would be an unthinkably horrible scandal if it got out. Maximilian Morel happens to overhear this because he was engaging in everyone's favorite hobby of sneaking into a place he's not supposed to be and then standing perfectly still witnessing crucial plot events, so he knows something very dangerous is afoot in the Villefort house, and also that—
Alright, fucking... Yeah, that was weird, wasn't it? God damn it. Shut up! No, I'm not complaining, like I said, I mean, it's a book from the 1800s. I'm glad that this book is being, like, torn apart, but god damn it, man. Fuck. Oh, God. This was, like, a lot of the stupid shit. I'm, like, really just... I can't believe I, like, thought that this was, like, more clever than it was. God damn it, dude. I thought this shit was so fucking clever when I read this, but...
Just because it's a little dumb doesn't mean it wasn't a good book.
No, you're right. It wasn't. I'm just a fucking moron. Damn it. It's not the book, it's fucking me, of course, so... Okay. Anyway, I'm going to what do you call it? I'm going to probably end stream. I know that we haven't gone through all the way with this, but there's a solid fucking like 20 solid like fucking like 20 minutes of this. So, we might continue it another time, to be honest. I'm sorry. I'm really glad that a lot of y'all are interested in literature, though, honestly. Very glad y'all are very interested in in reading or in
If you're tired, then you can sleep. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Good night, y'all. Appreciate you coming on by. And this time without the stream just suddenly ending. So